We should be live. Shalom Israel. Salute out and shout out to all the brothers and sisters that we celebrated the Feast of Tabernacles with, man. What a pleasure and what a joy it was to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles with all the brethren and sisters this past weekend. It was excellent time spent. A blessing. And so we enjoyed ourselves, and we wish we can reach out to many more brothers in fellowship and have that same interaction, because it was wonderful. You know, finally getting a couple days to spend with each other and maxing out and taking advantage of every opportunity to see each other and catch up on the growth and the changes and how the Most High has impacted other men's lives and other sisters' lives. That was a great exchange of fellowship. So we want to go ahead and get started. The topic is be discreet in marriage, and we don't want to. I don't want to go over what is marriage, but more so in the topic of choosing who to marry and what to look for in a marriage, what elements to look for in a marriage, what things should stand out to you if you've never known what to look for in a marriage. You know, these are highlights of a person that you want to look for, male or female, as attributing signs of saying, this is somebody I want to attach myself with, this is somebody I want to be with, this is somebody I want to spend time with, this is somebody I want to get to know. So no, that's you, but I don't know. I got you. You can find it. Yeah, I might have left it in the joint. Yeah. But if we can, we're gonna go ahead and get started, because it's kind of a lot of verses I want to go over, but it's a lot of reading too, and we're gonna read from different sources of information. Now, the topic is just to open your eyes as far as attributes that you want to look for in a person, male and female. What's good about them? What do they see in you? What do you see in them? And things that you want to say, okay, this is a good reason to say, man, I want to attach myself with this person. So first and foremost, we want to go and answer one question, and then we'll lead into the be discreet in marriage topic. But someone asked a question regarding the scripture Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 15. So the first thing we're going to do is answer that question, and then we'll go into the topic of being discreet. What does it mean to be discreet in marriage? So we want to start with the verse, and then give a quick breakdown of what this means, and then go into the topic. All right? The water, sir. Appreciate it. All right. So let's go to Ecclesiastes in Apocrypha chapter 26. It's in Apocrypha page 86.
Are we getting the Josephus at all?
Yeah, we're gonna get the Josephus only quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, we are gonna get the Josephus, but only for like 2 small sentences, you know. So we will get the Josephus only for 2 small passages in the Josephus. So Ecclesiastes chapter 26 verse 15 is where we're going to start at, because somebody had asked, what does this mean? So we're going to break that down. So let's read that. Ecclesiastes chapter 26. If you got pen and paper, go ahead and get your pen and paper. We're going to break this down slowly so we can get a full understanding, so that any other time somebody comes back to this verse, they can kind of get a grasp on what is it saying. All right, that's what we want to do. So first, we're going to answer the question. Ecclesiastes 26:15. Read that.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued.
Okay, so there was a question about what does this mean. So we're going to slowly break this down so everybody can understand when they read this verse, what exactly is it talking about. So read it one more time.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace.
Now, first and foremost, the word shamefaced, or shamefacedness all means the same thing. It means somebody who is excessive in modesty, somebody who's overly modest. So shamefaced is somebody who's overly modest. And definition of modest, so we understand modest, I got properly restrained by a sense of propriety, hence not forward or bold, not presumptuous or arrogant, not boastful, not loose, not lewd, not extravagant. Okay, so I'll just quickly run down because we want to read this topic and then go into the class.
Got part 1.2?
Got it.
It says moderate.
Moderate.
It's very good because sometimes a lot of our people have an issue with being extreme in their behaviors.
Mm-hmm.
So a person that's modest is not extreme, right?
Not extreme. So it's a person that's properly restrained by a sense of propriety, hence not forward or bold. So when you look at what they can restrain, what can they restrain that makes them modest? Initially, it's their temperament, it's their anger, it's their emotions. They have a grip over their emotions. They have a grip over their passions. They have a grip over their feelings. So a person that's modest is somebody that has self-control. It's somebody that can restrain themselves by a sense of propriety, hence not forward or bold, not presumptuous or arrogant. Presumptuous just means self-willed, meaning I don't care who I affect. I don't care what anybody has to say about me. I'm going to do what I want to do without regard to the effect that it has on somebody else. So that's somebody that's not presumptuous. They care about the effect that they have on somebody else. They care about the effect that they have on the people around them. So a person that's modest cares about not being willful as to have a negative impact on somebody. They keep themselves under some type of restraint. All right? So he says, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a what?
A double grace.
Is a double grace. So now he's showing how shamefacedness and faithful, they what? They go hand in hand.
Wow, they're connected.
They're connected. So he's first showing that if a woman has these qualities, if she's shamefaced, meaning she has limitations about herself, about what she will and will not say or what she will and will not do. There's limitations about her. This is also a good characteristic of a person that's what? Faithful. They go together. A person with restraint is a person that you can gain trust. They can gain your trust over time. But when you have a person that's maybe bold, or they're willful, or they're presumptuous, it doesn't really lead to a lot of trust. It doesn't breed trust. When somebody is bold and outspoken and will say whatever that they feel like they want to say without a regard to who is affected, you really can't trust this person's discretion. You can't trust this person's limitations. You know, you almost can't take this person out to dinner. You almost don't want to take this person to meet your parents, because anything at any time could fly out of their mouth and be brash or rude or inappropriate in a restaurant setting. She might say something in front of your parents, or he might say something in front of your parents that's unbecoming of a relationship, to where your parents are looking like, wow, this is your partner? This is who you chose? This is what you're dealing with? This is who you fell in love with? This person doesn't have any regard and no restraint. Most people will call it, this person lacks manners. This person lacks etiquette. Or this person lacks ethics. There's nothing that governs this person's thoughts. There's nothing that governs this person's mind, and there's nothing that governs this person's behavior. And when you have an ungoverned mind, or ungoverned mouth, or an ungoverned way of speech, you're more likely there's going to be some trust broken down the line. So a woman that's shamefaced and a woman that's faithful, they go together. How so? We'll get into more explaining about this. But also, let's go to how, if this woman does not have these characteristics, that's a red flag. That's a warning sign. Jump up to verse 10.
Ecclesiastes in the Apocrypha, the 26th and verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless.
And so if somebody lacks shame, if thy daughter lacks shame, that means she is bold. That means she is inappropriate in behavior, or lewd in speech, or lewd in behavior, or presumptuous, or very willful. He said, if thy daughter lacks what?
If thy daughter be shameless.
Be shameless. Go ahead.
Keep her in straightly.
He says keep her in what?
Straightly.
He says keep her in check. Keep this spirit in check. Definition of shameless. So we have it. I don't want anybody not to have it. Shameless. Destitute of shame. impudent, brazen-faced, immodest, audacious, insensible to disgrace, done without shame, as a shameless denial of truth. So, a couple of definitions of the word shameless. Destitute of shame, wanting modesty, impudent, brazen-faced, immodest, or audacious. So, looking at that first definition of that word audacious. Audacious means very bold or daring.
Not just bold.
She's not just bold, she's very bold. So it's an extreme amount of boldness. So he's saying in verse 10, in Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 10, he says, if thy daughter be what?
Shameless.
Which means very bold. Which the definition of shameless, one of the words was audacious. Audacious means very bold, daring, contemning the restraints of law,
Wow.
religion, or decorum, used for bold in wickedness. So it's somebody that regardless of laws, regardless of rules put in place, regardless of religion, or regardless of how I carry myself, and regardless of how I care that people look at me, I'm going to do what I want to do no matter what.
No matter what.
Notwithstanding law, notwithstanding religion, notwithstanding my reputation, I don't care about none of those things. I'll throw all three of those things in the trash. Because what I want to do is execute what I want to do. That's a very bold, audacious spirit. That's a shameless daughter. There's no limitations to this daughter. There's no restraint to this daughter. Now, if you have a daughter with that behavior, he says you got to do what in verse 10?
Keep her in straitly.
He says keep her in check. You got to keep this spirit contained. This spirit must be contained. Read on.
Lest she abuse herself.
Unless she do what?
Abuse herself.
Because with that audacious behavior, that very bold attitude, notwithstanding or not regarding law or religion or decorum or reputation, this person is going to make a fool out of themselves. And all they're going to do is hurt themselves. They're no good for themselves in that mentality. He says, so keep a man straightly and do what?
Lest she abuse herself.
With what?
Through overmuch liberty.
With overmuch what?
Liberty.
See, sometimes we think I'm grown. A daughter may say I'm grown. I've reached the age of 18. Or I reached the age of 16. I got a driver's license. So I get to go and come as I please. I'm 18 now. I'm grown. So I get to come and go as I please. I'm an adult now by state law or federal law. I'm constituted as an adult. So I get to come and go as I please as an adult because I have the privileges of an adult. That doesn't make an adult. That doesn't make a grown person by way of age or number. What makes an adult is the virtues that they possess. It's the level of self-restraint that makes an adult. It's the level of limitations that I put myself under, that I won't violate laws. I won't violate my religion or my beliefs. I won't violate myself, my own reputation, and my family's name. I'll carry myself with a higher level of respect. So this is what elevates and differentiates a person's maturity. Not by age, not by what state regulations say, because the scripture tells us in Job that wise old age men are not always wise.
True.
So it's not about how old you are that makes you an adult or makes you respectable or makes you respected. What makes you respected is your modesty, and you had that definition of modesty as being what?
Modesty.
If we wrote it down, we can read it.
Modest. It says properly restrained by a sense of propriety. Hence, not forward, not bold, not presumptuous or arrogant, not boastful, as a modest youth.
As a modest youth. So
it's immature.
It's immature. So it's showing you that this shameless spirit lacks these qualities. A shameless spirit lacks the qualities of self-restraint, lacks the quality of moderation. I do everything in measure. I'm appropriate in my behavior. I'm appropriate in my speech. So when you got a daughter like that, he said, keep her in straightly. It says, because she'll abuse herself with overmuch liberty. Read on.
Verse 11. Watch over an impudent eye.
Now it says, watch over an impudent eye. Now impudent eye or impudent means bold or saucy. You know how when, you got to tell a young child, hey, you're getting a little saucy. What does that mean?
It's getting spicy over there.
Yeah, you're getting spicy. What does that mean? Does that mean, Khalees, I'm saucy? You know what I'm saying? Now you dancing to the song. Now it's a jingle that you're supposed to be proud of. No, when somebody's bold and somebody's bragging about how bold they are, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be. That's not a good attribute to be saucy. That means I'm getting beside myself. That means I'm losing my respect, and that means I'm starting to carry myself outside of what the Most High said a modest woman would carry herself by. So that impudent, it says, for impudent eye, he said, watch over a what?
An impudent eye.
A bold or saucy eye. And one of the definitions of impudent or shamefaced, when we read verse 15, go back to 15, because the question that we started with for some people that just came in was to get an understanding of Ecclesiastes chapter 26 verse 15. So read that one more time.
Ecclesiastes.
And this is what we're breaking down. We're reading up to break down and explain verse 15. So read verse 15 one more time.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 15. A shamefaced and faithful woman.
So a shamefaced or a faithful woman, shamefaced and faithful go together. A shamefaced is a woman that's modest, not extravagant. She has self-control, right? Go ahead.
Is a double grace.
She's a double grace. It's a grace is a form of kindness from the Most High. So if the Most High blesses a man with a woman that's both shamefaced, it is also likely that she will be faithful. He said, but if you get these two attributes put together, he calls that a double kindness from who?
The Father.
It's a double kindness from the Most High. That's the Most High putting a blessing on top of a blessing. Now you have two winning attributes that are worth keeping, that are worth holding on to, that is considered valuable in the eyes of the Most High.
That's worth fighting for.
It's worth fighting for. He says this is a double grace. Read on.
And her continent mind.
And her what?
Her continent mind.
That continent mind is a mind that can be as under self-control. The word continent means self-control or self-restrained. That's what continent means. That means there's some control or limits about this woman. There's limits about what they will say and what they will do and where they'll go, how they carry themselves, how they dress, how they act. It's limitations to themselves. You get a woman like this, he said it's a double grace. Read. No, hold that. He said it's verse 15. It says, yeah, it's a double grace, and a continent mind. Go ahead.
Cannot be valued.
And what price can you put on a woman with these two attributes?
This is actually a valuable woman.
It's a woman's worth.
This is a woman's worth.
Because everybody wants to think about a woman's worth. What a woman's worth is. What makes a woman valuable. I know my worth. Well, what is your worth? A woman's worth is not based upon how she looks. A woman's worth is based upon her mentality, her ability to control herself. That's what makes her valuable. Is the restraint that she puts about herself. Is her modesty. That's what makes her valuable. So now read verse 11 one more time.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 11. Watch over an impudent eye.
He said, watch over an impudent eye. One of the definitions of the word impudent is extravagant, right? Now, one of the words that's a synonym to extravagant is vagary. Get the the definition of vagary. V-A-G-A-R-Y. V-A-G-A-R-Y. Vagary.
Vagary.
Yep,
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
Vagary.
Go ahead.
Latin word vagus. Wandering.
It says a woman. It says, watch over an impudent eye. Now the word impudent means bold. One of the definitions of bold means extravagant. One of the synonyms of extravagant is vagary.
Yeah.
Vagary meaning what?
Wandering.
A watch over a woman who has a wandering what?
It says a wandering of the thoughts.
It says watch over a woman that has wandering of the what?
Of the thoughts.
Of the thoughts. Her mind is everywhere at all times.
That's my
So her mind is everywhere. Her mind is all over the place. Her mind is not taking care of business. It's about who's doing what and what they have that I don't have. The mind is all over the place. I wonder what he's like. I wonder who's her girlfriend, and I wonder what kind of car he driving. I wonder what kind of money he got. And the mind is everywhere. He said you have to watch over an impudent eye. That impudent eye is a mind that wanders, the wandering of the thoughts. But another definition of the word vagary is what?
A wild freak.
A what?
A wild freak. That's the 1828 definition. It's before Rick James. A wild freak.
What's the definition of a vagary?
A vagary is a wandering of the thoughts. A wild freak.
A wild freak. We're not making this up, man. We're not making this up. This is the actual definitions that come out of the understanding of what the Most High said that you got to look over. If you got a wild freak, you gotta keep that freak in check. You got to keep that freak in order.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not. I know it sounds funny, but there is limitations to a woman. There should be limitations. That if you got a woman that has a wild freak, or somebody that wanders in their thoughts, whose mind is everywhere, he says you have to keep them in straightly. Right? Now, give me the definition of vagaries of life, because vagaries of life is also in the definition of vagary. Give the definition, vagary of life. Vagaries of life.
Google or
I got it right here. Vagaries are unexpected and unpredictable changes in a situation or in someone's behavior which you have no control over. I'll read it again. Vagary. It says, vagaries are unexpected and unpredictable changes in a situation or in someone's behavior which you have no control over.
No control.
You don't have no control.
I can't do nothing with it, dog. She's crazy.
She do what she want, dog.
And she gonna be home when she be home. I still love her though.
But I love her though. That's the thing. I still love her though. That's my boo. I still love her no matter. I know she crazy. I know I can't control her.
Yeah.
But that's my baby mama though. I love her.
She a freak though.
Yeah. But that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He's saying that this is the extravagant mind. This is what he's talking about. If you got a mind in this capacity, wild and uncontrollable, you can't control it. She gonna go where she want to go. She want to dress how she want to dress. She wants to do what she want to do. That's not the signs of a modest woman. That's vagary.
That's honestly the sad thing is that's new to me.
Yeah.
This definition is new.
Yeah, it's new, but the understanding is old.
Exactly.
The understanding is old, but the definition may be new. So now he's showing what type of eye you have to be careful with. So now go back to verse 11 in Ecclesiastes chapter 26.
Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 11. Watch over an impudent eye.
Go ahead.
And marvel not.
It says, and don't be surprised when you have a woman that's hard to control, that's immodest, that has no self-control or self-restraint, fires off at the mouth in communication, fires off in behavior, does what they want to do in behavior, misbehaves. He says, don't be shocked if they what?
If she trespass against thee.
If she end up breaking your heart, you end up heartbroken. Don't be surprised if you're heartbroken and this person is unfaithful. Why? Because they've been showing all the signs of an unfaithful spirit. No self-control, no self-restraint, no moderation, a lack of obedience. All these, no self-control, a wild mind, that thoughts that run everywhere. Don't be surprised if this person breaks your heart. Don't act all shocked. Man, I can't believe what happened. I can't believe what went down. I can't believe what this person did to me. How could you not believe this when all the signs was pointing to an uncontrolled spirit? All the signs were pointing to a spirit that could not be contained, would not be put in order. Why be shocked? Because that's what we do as men. I can't believe it, man. It's just, I can't believe she did that. Well, you weren't paying attention to what the Most High said makes a valuable woman, that makes a woman credible, that makes a woman worth obtaining for or fighting for. Why play the victim now? These signs have always been there. But these aren't the things that we value. As a man, we get caught up into looks.
True.
We get caught up in the looks, and we get caught up into superficial elements about a person. All the superficial elements that really aren't valuable in the eyes of the Most High, or esteemed as valuable in the eyes of the Most High, both male and female. I like him because he's dark skinned. I like him because he's tall. I like him because he got muscles. I like him because he got money. I like him because he make me laugh. He got jokes. He's funny. All the wrong reasons.
He always has new shoes.
He dressed nice. Or the old ancient one, he got a job. I like him because he got it. What? Yeah, but you know what? These are some superficial reasonings behind making a relationship or involving ourselves with people. We're not looking for the right things when it comes to matchmaking or marriage making. We're not looking at the right things or looking for the right things in a person. And then I'm surprised now that I'm heartbroken because I didn't understand that this person displayed qualities that was unbecoming of a daughter of Zion, or unbecoming of a man of Zion, a son of Zion. Now I'm shocked. This person lacked all these qualities that I didn't care nothing about. I didn't care nothing about reading. I didn't care reading about none of these qualities and saying, let me make sure that these qualities are present before I engage myself and involve myself with this person. Let me try the spirit by the spirit. Like the scriptures say, brethren, believe not every spirit.
Believe not every spirit.
Right.
It's true.
So instead of me trying the spirit, let me go. I just jump right head over heels, face first, head first into a relationship because this person showed me interest. Because this person called me by called me Junebug. Only my grandma called me Junebug.
How would you know that, girl?
Girl, you know what I'm saying? You call me Junebug. That means something to me. That means so you hitting home. You taking me back. Or a man calling a woman princess. Hey princess, how you doing today? Oh, my dad used to call me princess. You fell for the simplest of the simple hook, line, and sinker. Got him with the most simplest damn tag. What's up, princess? How you doing? What's up, my queen? Simple game. He called me queen. He called everybody queen. He called me princess. He called everybody princess. But you done fell for the simplest of hook lines, pickup lines, and now you wonder why the relationship is going downhill. Because you fell for some simple game. Because you didn't look for virtue. You didn't look for what the Most High says is important. These are virtues that should be standing out as signs that I'm looking for. These are the things that are indicators that I need to see before I step forward in this relationship. That's what we're in the process of doing, is explaining what this verse really means for those that just came in. All right. So that definition of vagary, it says vagary. Vagaries are unexpected and unpredictable changes in a situation or in someone's behavior which you have no control over.
God, vagary, Latin for vagus, wandering.
A mind that's what?
Wandering.
A mind that's wandering. You can't control it. There's no controlling over a wandering mind. Go ahead.
A wandering of the thoughts.
And a wandering of the what?
The thoughts.
Now, read verse 14.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 14. A silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
And that's why he says a silent and what?
A loving woman is a gift of the Lord.
So if you meet a woman that's both silent, she's quiet, and she's loving, he said that's a gift. Read on.
And there is nothing so much worth.
And what makes her valuable, on top of being silent and loving, is what? Read on.
A mind well instructed.
And versus having an uncontrollable mind, she has a mind that you can what?
Instruct.
She has a mind that you can teach. That's what makes a woman extra valuable. Not only is she silent and loving, but you can give her instruction. The minute you cannot and no longer give a woman instruction, she's no longer in a capacity where there's a governor over her thoughts. Now she's free to execute her own thoughts, which the scripture says when a woman's in that mentality will spoil themselves from overmuch liberty.
Yep.
They'll abuse themselves through their liberty and their independence. So these are not good qualities. What good qualities are is a woman that you can instruct and you can teach. This is what makes her valuable. Read on.
Verse 15. A shamefaced.
Now he's saying a shamefaced, on top of the fact that she's silent and loving, and she can be instructed, she can be told what to do, she can be taught, she can be educated. Read on.
And faithful woman.
Go
is
ahead.
A double grace.
And if you got a shamefaced, a woman that shows modesty, a woman that shows easily or excessive modesty, bashful, modest, quality of mind visible in external appearance, all these attributes of modesty, not presumptuous, not arrogant, not boastful, not loose, not lewd, not extravagant, not a freak.
It's not extra.
Not extra. When you got a woman like this, that's shamefaced and she's faithful, he said he counts it as a what?
Double grace.
A double grace.
A double grace. It's a double form of kindness from the Most High. Read on.
And her continent mind.
And her continent mind, meaning her mind has the ability to control itself. Not that you're trying to force this woman to do what you say, because nobody wants a relationship where a person is only in order by force. Do it because I told you to do it. Do it because I said so. Well, if they're only doing it because you said so, then they really don't want to do it. Then they're really not with you. They're only doing it not to get in trouble, not to be yelled at, or not to have some type of consequence or reap some type of trouble. So, but you want somebody that wants to be controlled because it's their desire to be controlled. They want to restrain themselves because that's their desire to be under submission. Now, you got a woman like this that wants to be under submission. She wants to be told what to do and directed and instructed and taught and educated. You got a double form of kindness you got a double blessing from the Most High.
And would submission be another word for submission be protection?
Yep.
This spirit allows another person that's righteous with the scriptures to protect her from the influences that are around you or her. That's what submission is. I'm submitting to your protection, to your wisdom. A child should submit to the protection of a father and mother, right? Don't cross that street. Look both ways. Those are instructions. If that child doesn't look both ways or cross the street, just run across the street, what is the possibility that commonly happens in the news and in life? What happens to that child? They get hit by a vehicle. They get injured. They touch the light socket. They touch the stove and burn their hand.
They hurt themselves.
They hurt themselves. So a man offering wisdom to help a woman submit is offering his protection.
Absolutely. So he's showing you what's valuable. He said in verse 15, he said, and her continent mind cannot be what?
Value.
So her ability to keep herself under control. She don't have to be told to shut up or be quiet because she knows how to keep herself under control. She don't have to she don't have to be told do this or else because she already knows how to stay in order. You don't have to verbally beat her down. Do it, woman. Do it because you ain't got to raise your voice. Do it because I said so. All that is mitigated. All the arguments, the yelling, losing your voice, cops being called, going back and forth, yelling all day and all night is a struggle of power. There is no struggle of power when you have the spirit in the house. That's what makes her valuable. And not only does she understand it's what the Most High requires of her, read on down, verse 16. Verse 16.
Verse 16. As the sun when it ariseth in the high heaven, so is the beauty of a good wife.
It says, as the sun ariseth in the high heavens,
so
is the what?
The beauty of a good wife.
So is the beauty of a what?
of a good wife.
Go ahead.
In the ordering of her house.
In the ordering of her house. Now, just like the sun comes up in the east and it sets in the west, it's on the same rotation every day. How does this woman operate?
Wow.
She's the same woman in order every day. She does what she's told every day. Her house is in order because she's in order. There's no chaos within the house. There's no police being called at 3 in the morning.
That's real.
There's no, I need you to come outside. We have a domestic dispute.
Come on.
I heard some yelling and some screaming and some flying against the wall. Now some bruises and fighting and kicking and you don't got. There's no. That's out of order in her house. That's not how she operates her house. In her house, there's peace, there's harmony, there's tranquility. There is no struggle for power in the house. There's no need to yell and go back and forth and do what I tell you to do, woman, or else. There's no threatening going on in the house because she understands what position she plays and how important it is for her to be in order. This is a double kindness from the Heavenly Father. Because then she's this way showing these attributes within herself. So it's automatically going to reflect inside her home. Because she carries this mentality daily. That's what she brings home. And that's what you have to come home to when you got somebody in order. You don't come home to chaos. And you don't come home tippy-toeing, making sure I don't say nothing. Making sure I watch what I say because I don't want to ruffle no feathers. Because I don't want to start no mess. And I don't want to start no trouble. So I'm just going to go to my man cave. As soon as I get in the house, go to my man cave. Boom, leave me alone. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be talked to. I don't want to be, because I don't want no friction. Damn, you should. What happened to being enjoying the marriage? What happened to enjoying coming home to a mind that's easily instructed? That's a blessing. But if you tiptoeing in your own house, there's a problem. Something's out of order. If you tiptoeing around issues, you can't communicate because there's going to be an explosion, because you're going to push my buttons, because you're going to say something stupid, and you're going to make me go off on you. There's a problem. There's some virtues that's lacking. So what the Most High is showing is these virtues you want to make sure that are exhibited within the household. You want this spirit in the household. Now, he says, verse 10, one more time.
Ecclesiastes 26 and verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless.
Shameless means audacious, bold, impudent. Another word for shameless or audacious is effrontery. E-F-F-R-O-N-T-R-Y. Effrontery. E-F-F-R-O-N-T-R-Y. Get that definition.
Okay. Effrontery?
Yes.
Okay, effrontery. Is that correct?
Yes.
Effrontery. Impudence, assurance, shameless, boldness, sauciness, boldness transgressing the bounds of modesty and decorum.
Now, the second part of the definition is what I want you to focus on. What does the second part say?
Effrontery is a sure mark of ill breeding.
It says effrontery is a sure mark of what?
Ill breeding.
It says effrontery is a sure mark of ill breeding. What does that mean? That means that boldness, that lack of fear, that immodest behavior, that immoral behavior. It says that has been a sign. He said it's a sure mark of ill breeding, meaning somebody was raised wrong.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's saying. Somebody was raised wrong. They were raised improperly. The scriptures say, train up a child in the way he shall go, and when he is older, he shall not what?
Depart.
So then what did that child see at home?
Impudence.
Impudence, boldness, attitude, immoral behavior. obviously, if there's signs of effrontery, which is audacious or impudent or boldness, then obviously it's coming from somewhere. He said effrontery is a mark of what?
Ill breeding.
It's a sure mark of ill breeding, meaning somebody's been raised wrong. They've been raised inappropriately. They've seen something and educated themselves with inappropriate behavior. Something wasn't right in the house. What he's getting to is the core of the boldness. He's getting to the core of the immodest behavior, lack of self-restraint. Who did you learn this from? Where did you get it from?
Childhood.
Who did you get it from? To cuss out your husband or your partner or your mate, or to put hands on your partner. Who did you get it from? Where did you learn it from? It had to come from somewhere. So, if we can understand, I'm gonna leave it at that. For us breaking down the definition or that verse of Ecclesiastes 26 verse 15. So I hope we understand, when we see that verse, we understand exactly what it means. It means that there's certain values and virtues that have been instilled in a person that they've carried throughout themselves in adulthood, and this type of person is inherited to a person that fears the Lord. If a man has this kind of woman, this is a valuable woman. Because when you read Ecclesiastes chapter 26, read verse 1.
Ecclesiastes 26 in verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that hath a virtuous wife, for the number of his days shall be doubled.
Because a virtuous woman, a woman with these characteristics, does what to a man's life?
Doubles.
It doubles a man's life.
So that means that he lives longer, less stress, less craziness, less madness, more peace.
More peace. Read on.
Verse 2. A virtuous woman rejoiceth her husband.
He's happy to be home. Read on.
And he shall fulfill the years of his life in peace.
Because what's at home?
Peace.
He comes home to peace, not chaos. He comes home to order. He comes home to a person that's ready to be instructed, not combat you, go back and forth with instruction. Yes, sis.
What makes a virtuous man?
As a man that fears the Lord. That's what makes a man virtuous. The same thing that makes a woman virtuous. But a woman's virtuousness, her virtue, is just a pure reflection of the virtue that exists in a man. And the Most High will reward a virtuous man with a virtuous woman. And to prove that, let's go there. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Great question. I love the question. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 23.
Ecclesiastes chapter 26 and verse 23. A wicked woman is given as a portion to a wicked man.
So here's how the Most High distributes people to each other. This is how the Most High dispenses your soulmate to you. This is how the Most High plays the equity game with people and does what's fair, and this is his form of justice to you. He says a wicked woman is what?
Given as a portion to a wicked man.
So the Most High is only fair and righteous to everybody. So if a man is out of order with him, if a man does not know how to be obedient, if a man does not know how to be in subjection, if a man does not know how to take correction, if a man does not know how to receive instruction, then all the Most High does is give him his reflection in the form of a woman. That's all the Most High gives him. I'm going to give you your reflection, but in the female version of you. And that's what you have at home. Because you're not in order with me. It's not that the man should be angry at the woman. What the woman's lack of virtue should do for a man is be a wake-up call for a man. What the woman's lack of instruction or ability to receive instruction should be a wake-up call and an indicator to a man that maybe I'm not all the way in order with the Most High. Because this scripture is not lying. And the Most High is no lie. He does not lie. It's impossible for the Most High to lie. That's what the scriptures say. The Most High don't lie. What we do is lie to ourselves. We tell ourselves, well, I don't deserve this. We tell ourselves, well, the Most High is not fair. How come he gets the good women? How come she gets the good husbands? How come their relationship looks like a power couple? I want that Will and Jada love. No, you don't.
You don't want that love.
No, you don't. You don't want that Will and Jada love. Because you're gonna get a bold, shameless woman, and you're gonna get entanglements. And don't be surprised. Me sitting there crying at the red table. Don't be crying at the red table because there was an entanglement. And now you got a 25-year relationship. However long they've been together. They've been together over 20 years because their kids are 22, 23. Now you got a 25-year relationship, and you don't know where she going when she leave the house. And you don't know who she gonna be with. Neither do you know when she coming back. But you want that kind of love. No, you don't. That's not. You know what the Most High says? The Most High says, a wicked woman is given what?
As a portion to a wicked man.
So the Most High is very fair and very just and very equitable. All he does is give you in the female form as a man. He gave you your perfect match. You out of order with me, so I'm gonna give you a woman that's out of order with you. Read on. But it doesn't stop there. Read on.
But a godly woman.
But a what?
But a godly woman.
But a godly woman. Go ahead.
Is given to him that feareth the Lord.
So where's the godly woman coming from? Where's the virtuous woman coming from? Because the Most High gives them to who?
To a godly man.
To a godly man, a man that fear the Lord. Now read Ecclesiastes chapter 26, verse 3.
God. Verse 3. A good wife is a good portion.
Is a what?
A good portion.
You got a good slice, man. You got a good piece. You got a good portion that belongs to you. The Most High cut you a good slice of the pie when you got a good wife. He said, but a good wife is only a good piece or a good portion to who? Read.
Which shall be given in the portion of them that fear the Lord.
Does it not say the same thing?
Yeah.
Who's getting a good slice?
The ones that fear the Lord.
The ones that fear the Lord. A godly man gets a godly woman. The Most High is fair. He's very equitable. But we don't see the justice of the Most High. We think we didn't deserve it. We think we deserve better. No, you don't. You got exactly what you needed. You got exactly what was due to you. Because you didn't know how to choose. Neither did you have the fear of the Most High. And now, to hopefully we've answered that question of Ecclesiastes 26 and 15, because that was the question that a sister had to break down that verse. Now we can go to the other topic, which is a very necessary element to the topic anyway, which is to be discreet in marriage. Knowing what to choose, how to choose in marriage. First of all, we know that you got to fear the Most High above all. But there still has to be attributes that you need to see before you involve yourself with a person. So first and foremost, let's go to Josephus, page 776, 775. We're going to go to the Josephus, page 775. We're going to go to book 1, chapter 7, and we're going to go to line 30. Let everybody get it. Everybody got Josephus? You got it?
Okay.
There's one more down. We got two more. We got another one right here.
On top right here.
We got okay. We got some right there. Page 770. Page 775.
Hey, Moa. Yeah. You pass sister back there? Oh, she has it. Okay, it's like she got that. All right, here, she got it. She good.
775. Book 1, chapter 7, line number 30. All right, let's read that.
All right. Flavius Josephus, book 1, chapter 7, point 30, page 775.
Right.
For our forefathers did not only appoint the best of these priests and those that attend upon the divine worship.
So what Josephus is saying is that the Most High chose priests that attended to what?
The divine worship.
So where was the priest's mind at?
Divine worship.
So the Most High said that he chose priests that their mind was locked into him. Read on.
For that design from the beginning but made provision that the stock of priests should continue unmixed and pure.
So he said that Josephus is saying that although the priest, his mind was on the Most High at all times, doing the service of the Lord, he still wanted to make sure that the lineage of the priest stay unmixed and pure. So what was the actions done to make sure that the lineage would be unmixed and pure? Read on.
For who is partaker of the priesthood must propagate of a wife of the same nation.
So he says you got to pick from your what?
Nation.
You got to make sure that there's no distractions from the servitude or the focus of the priest. He says make sure that you choose a wife of the what?
Same.
She got to be an Israelite. Because what it does is there's no struggle for allegiance. There's no struggle for belief. There's no struggle of who's the authority and what should we follow. There's no battle for beliefs. He said of the same nation, read on.
Without having any regard to money.
It says so you don't choose a woman based on her what?
Money.
You do not choose a woman based on her what?
Money.
I'm going to say it again. You do not choose a woman based on her what?
Her money.
Now we're going to explain later on when we get to this next book of why you shouldn't get with a woman only for money. We'll break that down in a few minutes.
Oh,
I thought you had your hand up. Sorry about that. So you shouldn't get a woman for money. What else?
Or any other dignities.
Or any other advantages.
Wow.
Because you know what women have? Women may come with their own cars.
Little hookups and stuff.
Women may come with their own houses.
Yeah.
Women may come with their own pad and the crib is decked out. And you know, she know how to throw down. There's some good food over there. She know how to cook, bro. They be slapping, man. That food be slapping.
Yeah.
And I'll be, you know what I'm saying? I'm coming through for the wings.
I'll be there.
I'll be over there for the wings. She got collard greens, she got asparagus, she got spinach, she got greens. She got greens. She got chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
She be throwing down. So he said, or if any other, you're not looking at a woman because you could take advantage of her, or she comes with these assets. She knows how to cook. She got some money, bruh. She let me borrow the car whenever I want to. I can get the keys. She threw me the keys to the crib. I got the keys right now. I got the keys to the crib, bro. Tripping, man. You know, but these are the superficial reasonings behind people developing relationships. These are superficial attributes that people look at to say, this is what makes this person valuable. This is what makes this person esteemed as being worthy of getting my attention. Because she can cook. Because she can sew. Because she got money. She got a good job.
She got her own house.
She got her own house.
Got her own car.
Work 2 jobs. She a bad broad. You ain't on? Sit down.
Sit down.
You listen too much music. Hold on, man.
What's that? Lil Webby? Lil Webby was
Hold
breaking
on,
it down,
man.
man. Class was Lil Webby.
Hold on, man. Hold on. He said, yeah, hold on. I got to get
That was
this part
Boosie,
right
right?
here. That was Boosie right there.
That was Boosie.
That was
his class.
That was Webby.
I was with
Independent.
Hey, he said, read this right
That
here.
was both of them.
Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 21. Read that.
Ecclesiastes chapter 40, verse 21.
Yep, read that.
The pipe and the psaltery.
Yeah, it's a lot of brothers making good music. It's a lot of brothers making catchy songs that's trying to tell you how to choose a woman. INDEPENDENT. Do you know what that means? You know, she independent. That's great. That's pipes and psaltery. That's good music. That's good sound. It's catchy. It got a hook to it, and it got a little lesson. Look for the independent woman.
Yeah.
She a bad broad. She a 5-star chick. Now I got music as being the reason of how I choose my women, cause she independent. But what he say? Music and psaltery does what?
Makes sweet melody.
Yeah, the music sound good, but don't use the music to be how you choose your relationship. Don't listen to no damn song as to say, yeah, that's what kind of woman I want. Read on.
So it's like music's like just like wrestling was when we were growing up.
Yeah.
It was just pretend.
Entertainment.
Kind of.
It was entertainment. It wasn't the basis of how I look at my how I make a marriage, how I make a match with somebody. Read.
But a pleasant tongue.
But a what?
A pleasant tongue.
So yeah, so what if she independent? So what if she got a good job? So what if she know how to cook? But she don't know how to do what? She don't know how to talk to you. She talk to you like dirt. She treat you like trash. Now what good was the good job and the keys and when you feel less than a man? He said more valuable than you listening to catchy music and catchy tunes and catchy sounds as how you choose to register a soulmate, qualify a soulmate. He said, but you need to be looking at how she do what?
But a pleasant tongue.
How does she talk to you? How does she speak to you? How does she come across vocally? Is there gentleness in her and kindness and meekness in her tongue? Does she know how to make you feel better with her words? Or does she tear you down with her words? You ain't nothing. You ain't crap. You a piece of something. I should have stayed with my other man. I should have stayed with so-and-so. I don't even know why I got with you. You was a mistake.
Lucky I'm
You was the worst decision I ever made.
God.
I needed to level up.
That's real. Huh? This is a real deal.
I lowered my standards to be with you.
Yeah.
I diminished my standards by being your partner. I thought I was supposed to level up. I was trying to level up. Now you got this kind of talk. Say you because you've been listening to that stupid music telling you how to make a marriage. You should have been listening to how this woman does what? Read.
But a pleasant tongue is above them both.
It's better than them both. Better than any damn song you can put on the radio. Yeah, I had to get that for that reason. But
People live their whole life with that song.
Yeah,
That's on music.
let that go, man. But get back to where we was at in Josephus. Who had the Josephus?
I had Josephus right here. It says, but in regard to money.
Just said you don't deal with a woman based on her money, what kind of job she got, you know what I'm saying, what kind of car she got, what kind of house she got, you know what I'm saying, whether you get the keys to the crib and she know how to cook or whatever. You know, that's not what you're looking for. Read on.
Or any other dignities.
Go ahead.
But he is to make a scrutiny.
It says you're supposed to pick a woman based upon what?
Scrutiny.
Somebody give it a definition of scrutiny. That's the problem with relationships. You didn't use scrutiny. You didn't scrutinize the person that you're dealing with from the jump. You went off the superficial elements of a partner. You went off what you can see. You went off height. You went off curls, straight hair. You went off muscles. You went off light skin. You went off Jordans. You went off clothes. You went off all the wrong things. All that is irrelevant in choosing a partner. You got the definition of scrutiny?
God.
Go ahead.
One that was critical observation.
It says one that uses what?
Critical observation.
I'm looking for virtues when I'm establishing a relationship. I'm using critical observation. I'm not looking at how much money they got, what kind of job you got. I don't want to hear all that. That's what you tell everybody. Because you know, most women know and most men know what women want and women know what men want. Men know how to use flattery as to boast themselves up and make themselves more with the appearance of importance. I'm a greater catch than the next guy because I got this going on in my life. Men know how to inflate what they do to make themselves sound bigger and better than the next man. Women know how to use flattery and tell a man what he want to hear. Women know how to use flattery and men know how to inflate themselves. And then when you get with the dude, you find out he ain't even working. Then you find out, that's why I say this. Give the scripture with, yes sir.
There's a third part on that definition.
Hold on, don't get it yet.
God.
Let me get this verse real quick before you get that third part. It's in the Old Testament. Yeah. know what? Get this right here. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 5.
Proverbs chapter 29, verse 5. A man that flattereth his neighbor.
It says a man that does what?
That flattereth his neighbor.
Does what?
Spreadeth a net for his feet.
All I'm doing is what?
Spreadeth a net for his feet.
When you spread the net, what are you trying to do?
Trap.
You're trying to set a trap. Men know how to set traps for women. Men know how to use flattery to tell a woman what they want to hear. Yeah, I'm going to school right now. I've just been working and going to school. I work 2 jobs, go to school. I take care of my bills. I got 750 credit score. I'm about to buy a house. I'm about to buy a house this year. I'm looking to buy a crib. You know, I've been getting everything in order. I got all my business in order. I got my crib. I haven't spread no net in a long time. So excuse me for being out of touch with net spreading. But I personally haven't tried to spread no net in a while. But I know if I think about it, I go back to when I was used to use flattery and try to use what I do, where I work at. I got this kind of reputation. Everybody know me. I'm well known. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just tell them that you talk to Raymond. Tell them you talk to Raymond, you get the job. I know everybody in the office. I know all the management. They all know me. Like you to be respected. You know how to inflate yourself. But when you use flattery, all you're doing is spreading a what?
A net.
And a woman knows how to do the same thing. She knows how to tell a man whatever he want to hear to get him to catch him. You ain't got to worry about nothing. You ain't got to worry about, you need a woman that you ain't got to worry about coming home and, I have your bath water taken care of. I have your clothes ironed. I have your food cooked already in the oven. I have everything laid out. All your clothes are washed. All you got to do is just show up. I got the baby oil. I'm going to rub you back down. I'm going to massage your feet. You know what? All you doing is like, man, I get all that? I get all that? I get the back rub on site? I get the feet rub with the baby oil? All I got to do is show up? You had your hand up, right?
Oh, net's also influence.
Influence, true. It could be used as influence. But flattery is used to blow or inflate themselves up for the purpose of gaining somebody. Men and women know how to do this. He said he spreadeth the net for his neighbor. Read on.
Spread the net for his feet. Verse 6.
That's it. He spread the net for his feet. So you gotta use critical. What does it say? Critical analysis or scrutiny.
Observation.
Critical observation. For what? Or what else? You said you had a third definition of
Yeah,
scrutiny.
there was a third on there. It says close watch or surveillance.
It says close watch or what?
Surveillance.
Yeah, keep watching.
You gotta
Keep watching.
keep an
That's it, Mike,
eye
change
on.
that.
You gotta keep an eye on a person before you engage yourself in a relationship. This is why we tell men to slow down in the camp.
God.
This is why we tell a man and a woman wait 6 months to a year before you engage into this relationship, before you even start thinking about a relationship. Don't dive into no relationship. Don't dive into no marriage. Observe this person a little bit. See what they're about. See if they're more about serving you or they serving the Most High. Who do they fear? Yes, sir.
I had a definition of scrutinize.
Scrutinize.
It says to scrutinize the private conduct or motives of individuals.
It says private what?
To scrutinize the private conduct.
To scrutinize the private what?
Conduct.
The private behavior. So you need to watch this person when they don't think nobody's watching. You checking out this person's behavior. It says scrutinize the private conduct. Go ahead.
Or motives. of
Or what?
individuals. Or motives.
What is this person's intentions? See, the only thing that tells a person's motives or intentions is time. You don't know off the bat if this man just wanted to have sex. You don't know off the bat if this man just wanted to have sex. But you know what will expose that motive? Time. Make him wait. You know what happens when you make a man wait? He grows impatient and get angry. And then he starts looking somewhere else. Then he ain't so much interested into you anymore. Then he's not calling so much.
No good morning text.
Yeah, ain't no good morning, ain't no talking on the phone, because you know what you're exposing? that there was an ulterior motive. He didn't care about you as a person. He only cared about what you can provide him, whether it be comfort or lust. He didn't care about you. You know, a person will use flattery, and you don't even know if this woman, she tell you she love you, but she could have been gaming you. You know, I love you, sweetheart. But you know, the transmission, something's not working with my car. I don't know what it is. But the transmission, you need to take a look at the transmission. You know, I love you, baby, sweetheart, I love you, but you know, they finna kick me out because my rent, they tell me, I don't know what it is. They just told me that they didn't get my last payment on my rent. Baby. They didn't get baby, they didn't get my last payment. They didn't get my last payment. So you don't even know if you don't know if you being game to pay somebody bills, or you don't know if you being game for a relationship. You don't know. How would you know?
Oh my God.
You didn't use no scrutiny, right? You didn't understand what this person's motives was. You didn't wait long enough to see this person's intentions. This is why we tell people in the camp, wait 6 months to a year and then start taking this person a little bit more serious. Don't just jump into no damn relationship blindly. You're going to be the fool. All of them words that you heard, that was flattery. That person was just laying a net at your feet. And you didn't even know it. You didn't wait no time. All we get is a bunch of damaged people from damaged relationships. Broken hearts. We get a bunch of broken hearts in the camp. You know what? So be it. Because if that's what the Most High got to use to get you to serve Him, so be it. Then that was what you needed. You needed your heart broke, and in order to get you to listen. So be it. But this. It doesn't always have to be this way. You don't have to be what somebody said. Man, I'm glad I didn't do that. I'm glad I didn't do what this person did. You didn't have to be somebody else's lesson. You could have took heed to wisdom from the jump. You could have took heed to counsel before you established the relationship. Now you're somebody else's what not to do. Don't do what she did. Don't do what he did. Because you didn't want to wait. So he said that the priest was in strict order. They were demanded that they must choose a wife that was appropriate. They had to choose a wife that was what?
It says right here, stock of the priest should continue unmixed and pure. For he who is a partaker of the priesthood must propagate of a wife of the same nation.
Read on.
Without having any regard to money.
It didn't matter how much money she made. Go ahead.
Or any other dignity.
Go ahead.
But he to make a scrutiny.
But he is
to make a scrutiny.
We're in the Josephus, page 776. He said a man that's serving the Most High was supposed to meet a woman and engage in a woman after he was making what?
A scrutiny.
After he made a real intelligent decision. Well
thought
out. Based upon morals. Based upon intentions. Based upon virtues. Read on.
And take his wife's genealogy.
And he was also to look at where she came from.
Yep.
Let me look at your parents. Let me look at your stock. Let me see what, because you know what? As a person is training their children, you know what I'm saying? Train up a child. That word also in the Hebrew, train, means to dedicate. Dedicate a child in the way he shall go, and when he is older, he shall not depart. So what if your parents dedicated you to? What kind of dedication did they put into you? What kind of respect and honor had they instilled into you? What kind of fear of the Lord have they put into you? Read on.
To take his wife's genealogy from the ancient tables and procure many witnesses.
And I also got to have what?
Procure many witnesses.
So I don't just go off my lust. I don't choose a person based upon, man, I just got butterflies in my stomach when I'm around this person.
Ooh.
This person just gets me tingly, and they just make this, I get nervous when I'm around this person. I just get butterflies. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, man.
Now it's the music, man. Yeah, give me butterflies.
Yeah.
Now you got butterflies in your stomach, and you singing your heart out.
R. Kelly wrote that song.
This person
No,
made me feel
Floetry,
good.
Floetry.
Floetry, yeah. Wrote that for Michael Jackson. Because this person make you feel a certain way. But you ain't put no witnesses to the table. You didn't bring no witnesses in to advocate for this person and validate this person's loyalty. You didn't put no witnesses to the test and validate this person's upbringing. You just took this person in on face value.
Yeah, true.
Just because they said nice things to you. Just because they said sweet things to you. Just because they used a little flattery to you.
She had them hips.
Yeah. Or, you know what? I saw another dude looking at her, and I beat him to it.
Oh, he won.
So I won
He won.
because I beat this other cat to
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So that makes me the winner?
yeah.
Where's the witnesses? And so now, let that go. Now we're going to get to the next book. Because the scriptures say all things written aforetime was written for our what?
Learning.
Written for our learning, right? Things written aforetime, written for our learning. So we can learn from a lot of these things. Because the nature of relationships are horrible today. The nature of relationships are disastrous today. The estate of the modern day relationship is broken. And we wonder why. So let's get to the next book. Go ahead and let the Josephus go. We're going to go ahead and go to this book right here. This book right here is called the Basilicon Duran. It means the king's gift. That's what it means. And it was written by King James. The Bible was not written by King James. King James had the Bible translated. But this is one of the few books that he did write. This is one. King James was the author of this book. It's called the Basilicon Duran. It means king's gift. Actually, this is two books in one. The True Laws of Freemasonry and the Basilicon Duran. It's two books in one. So you can buy this book separate. You can buy it together. But what this book
Free monarchies.
Free monarchy.
No, not Freemasonry.
Not masonry. Free
We're
monarchy.
not pushing masonry.
No.
Monarchy.
Monarchy.
Monarchy means
Government.
means a government. How you create a strong government.
Right. Let me make sure I put my hand up there so y'all can see it. You can see it for yourself.
The true law of free monarchies.
And Basilicon Duran.
So free governments.
So this book was given to his son because King James feared assassination. He feared that he'd be assassinated before he was able to raise his son up, his firstborn son, Prince Henry. And so he wrote this book in preparation of his death, of his assassination. So this is the advice that a king gave to his son, the Prince Henry. So we're going to just go straight to the point regarding marriages. And his advice from a father, King James, his advice to his son on how to pick a marriage, what to do, and how to look at establishing a relationship. So this is the best advice King James could give his son. All right? Knowing that he may not be alive by the time his son got a wife. So in preparation for that. So we're going to go to page 139. 139. Write this down. If you can order this book, order it. You can get it in the PDF. Great book. You can get it in PDF, or you can get this book online on Amazon. It is expensive. But brothers have found this book for $40.
It's $200 online.
Oh.
How much is it right now?
It was $300.
Brothers did get it for 40, right? My Willa, you said you got it for 40? Y'all came in at the right time. Yeah.
Said, what page was it?
Page
I think you can get it like
138.
You can get $8. You can get like
$8.
It's $8.
It was $200. That's my shit.
Yeah. Okay, let's start here. 138. Okay, you got to listen. There's a lot of reading, so I want you to listen. I want you to pay attention to the wisdom that King James is dropping on his son. Because remember, he's knowing that he may be assassinated. So he's trying to prepare his son for a major part of his son's life, which is marriage. And also, being a prince, he knew that he would be a king, so having the right mate would be very critical, very important. So let's read page 138. Start right here of King James telling his son, Prince Henry, right here in the highlighted part.
Consider the difference.
So we're in the middle of page 138. He said, King James is telling his son, consider the difference, go ahead,
that the Most High granted in the marriages of the king, my grandfather, and me, your own father.
He says, I want you to pay attention to how the Most High did your grandfather, which was King James's father. He said, versus the relationship that me and your mother had. This is what King James is telling his son. Read on.
The reward of his incontinency.
It says, King James acknowledged that his father didn't possess what? Continent. He was incontinent, meaning he had no self-restraint. He was lewd in his behavior. He had no self-control. So he was telling his son, look at the difference between me and my father's marriage to my marriage. He said, your grandfather didn't have self-control. He was incontinent. He had no self-restraint. He was lewd in his behavior. Read on.
Proceeding from his evil education.
And where did it come from?
His evil education.
Because he wasn't raised right. He learned it from somewhere. Read on.
Being the sudden death at one time of two pleasant young princes.
It says, and King James is saying the Most High took his life because he was incontinent. He had no self-restraint and no self-control. He said the Most High took his life right when he had two young boys. Go ahead.
And a daughter.
And a daughter, which is King James's mother, Elizabeth. Read on.
And a daughter only born to succeed to him, whom he had never the hap so much as once to see or bless before his death.
Go ahead.
Leaving a double curse.
He said, my grandfather, your grandfather, my father left behind a what?
A double curse.
Not only was his life cut short, but he also had a daughter that he never got a chance to bless and see. Never got to see who inherited the throne. Read on.
A double curse behind him to the land. Both a woman of sex.
A woman that he was married to. Go ahead.
And a newborn babe of age to reign over them. And as for the blessing the Most High hath bestowed on me, and granting me both a greater continency.
He says, the Most High blessed me better than he blessed my father. He says, because I use what? Continency. The same thing we read in Ecclesiastes, chapter 26, verse 15. When it said, a shamefaced and faithful woman is a double grace, and her continent mind cannot be valued. That continent mind is a woman who possesses self-control over her passions. She has self-control over her emotions. She has self-control over her lust. That was counted as a double grace in Ecclesiastes. King James is saying the reason why the Most High made my relationship better is because I used continency. I used self-control. I controlled my lust. Read.
And the fruits following thereupon. Yourself and sip folks to you.
He says, and your siblings are the proof that the Most High blessed me because of my self-restraint and my self-control. Read.
Are praise to the Most High, sufficient witnesses, which I hope the same power of his infinite mercy shall continue and increase without repentance to me and my posterity. Be not ashamed then to keep clean your body.
What did King James tell his son?
Be not ashamed then to keep clean your body.
So he said before you even get a woman, before you even marry somebody, he says you gotta look at the self-control that you possess before you even establish a relationship. He says so before you get married, the Most High is checking out, did you keep your body clean? Or was you passing yourself out to everybody? That's why it says, be not afraid to do what? Be not ashamed.
Then to keep clean your body.
Go ahead.
Which is the temple of the Holy Spirit.
It says, King James is telling his son, your body is precious. Your body is special. Before you even get married, have self-control over your body. 1 Corinthians 6 and 15. Read it. Read it. What was he quoting? What was King James quoting when he was writing this letter to his son? What verse was he using? 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 15. Read that.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 15. Know ye not that your bodies are the members of Yahushua?
He says, don't you know your bodies are the members of Christ? Before you even get married, you should practice using self-control, keeping your body what? Clean. Because your body is special first and foremost. Before you even think about marriage, did you think about keeping your body pure? Did you think about keeping your body undefiled? Think about what you're about to ask the Most High for. You're about to ask the Most High to bless you with a soulmate. Read on.
Shall I then take the members of Yahushua and make them the members of an harlot?
So should you take your body and partner your body with a whore right before you get married? Should you have the conduct of a whore? Should you have the conduct of somebody who's loose and incontinent, who has no self-restraint and no self-control, who's only bent upon satisfying their lust in their flesh? And then you want the Most High to turn around and bless you with a good partner. But you've been a whore the whole time. This is both male and female. This is a man telling his son this. You've been a whore the whole time. Now you want a wife? But you've been polluting yourself this whole entire time. But now you expect the Most High to bless you with a virgin. You expect the Most High to bless you with somebody pure. But you've been impure the whole time. Yes, ma'am.
What makes you a whore?
Just the fact that I give the love that's due to somebody and I give it to somebody else. So if I take the love that's due to one person and I give it to somebody else, that's what makes me a whore. All right, in a short form. Read on.
Yahweh forbid.
He says, God forbid. If I'm looking for a wife, I'm looking for a husband, at least use some abstinence before you establish a wife and get a husband. You can't operate in polluted behavior, then turn around and expect virtue. That's unjust. That don't even make sense. How can you ask for something pure and for the Most High to bless you with somebody pure, but you've been polluted in your behavior and conduct the whole time? Don't you know the Most High is going to give you, you're going to reap what you sow? You're going to get the same kind of person that you've been. You're going to get the same kind of person that you are. So if you want something pure, then why don't you become pure? Why don't you operate in some type of pure capacity? This is what King James is first telling his son before he even gets to marriage. Before he even gets to the topic of marriage. Read on in 1 Corinthians.
Verse 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body?
Don't you know if you put your flesh together with the whore, the Most High is counting you together as one? Didn't the Most High say two shall become one flesh? Yes.
That goes both ways.
It goes both ways. This is King James telling his son, based upon this scripture in 1 Corinthians, how to carry himself as a young prince. If you expect purity or virtue from somebody that you want to marry, then you have to operate in some type of capacity of virtue and purity and cleanness. You can't be a whore the whole time and then expect the Most High to drop a virgin on your lap like, wham, I deserve that. No, you don't. It doesn't work that way. Read on in 1 Corinthians. Read that part again.
1 Corinthians 6 and verse 16. What? Know ye not that he which is joined to an harlot is one body? For two, saith he, shall be one flesh.
Because what is the Most High going to look at when you join yourself with a harlot? He says the two of them is going to become one. He recognizes them as what?
One flesh.
As one flesh. That's how the Most High looks at a marriage. So you're attached to whoever you attach your body to. The Most High sees you the same way as he sees that other person you attach to. Read on.
Verse 17. But he that is joined unto the Lord is one spirit.
But if you join to the Most High, then you're one spirit with who? With the Most High. So it's best that you make your marriage with the Most High in Christ before you make an actual physical marriage. Let that go and go back to where we was at in what King James is telling his son.
It says, your body, which is the temple of the Holy Spirit, notwithstanding all vain allurements to the contrary.
He says, notwithstanding all vain allurements to the what?
Contrary.
Go ahead.
Discerning truly and wisely of every virtue and vice.
He says you got to be able to discern between what is your lust and what is your virtues. You got to know the difference. Is this me operating? Am I establishing something? Am I attaching myself to somebody based off virtue? Or is this attachment based upon vice and lust? It's your job to know the difference of why you are creating this relationship. You got to be able to discern the difference. This is what he's telling his son. You got to be able to know the difference. Is this relationship all based upon sex and lust and making each other feel good? Or you're actually trying to build something spiritual that the Most High can honor and be acceptable in his eyes? He said that's what you have to be able to discern. You got to know why you're doing what you're doing. You got to know why you're establishing something. Why are you laying down with this person? So we make each other feel good? Is that it? This person know what I like? Because I get a good feeling. That's it? He said, man, that's why he says there is a difference. And you have to establish your relationships off something broader and better than just what satisfies your vice or your flesh. Read.
Wisely of every virtue and vice according to the true qualities thereof, and not according to the vain conceits of men.
So you gotta look at, am I looking at this relationship the right way? Or is the perspective that I'm using in this relationship, is it based upon how the world looks at a relationship? We're friends with benefits. Because that's how the world looks at relationships. We're just partners. We're friends with benefits. She my busted baby, or whatever the hell they use.
Just jump off.
That's my jump off. That's my you know what I'm saying? Rebound or whatever the hell, whatever the hell they.
This is my rotation.
Yeah, hot girl summer. She's one of my bench players.
Oh,
Stepdaddy season. Whatever the crap. You know what I'm saying? That's real, man. Stepdaddy season. That's real talk. That means I dealt with this man, got a baby out of him just to juice him out of money. Now I got a check coming every month. That's a payday. Now it's a payday. Now that happens every day. I'm in it for the money. He says, not for the vain reasons why man gets relationships. That's why man gets relationships. It's only satisfying carnal things. Man never establishes the relationships off the right principles. Read on.
It says, as for your choice in marriage.
Now he's getting to the marriage. First, keep yourself clean before you even get married. Keep yourself pure in the eyes of the Most High. Why don't you marry the Most High in Christ first? Why don't you keep yourself pure? Then come and start looking at a possible marriage. That's not what we do. We learn the hard way through trial and error. We try it first, it fails, and then we try to get right. That's the nature of Israelites. I break it, then I try to fix it. Then I try to put it together. You know how hard it is to put together a broken relationship that wasn't built the right way from the beginning? It's almost fruitless. Not saying it's impossible, because it is possible. But it's very difficult and it's unnecessary because you built it the wrong way from the jump. It was built off the wrong elements. Read on.
It says, as for your choice in marriage, respect chiefly the three causes wherefore.
Write these down.
marriage.
He said, listen, I'm going to give you 3 reasons. This is King James telling his son, I'm going to give you 3 reasons, and don't forget these reasons of why you should get married. He said, these 3 reasons why you should get married are 3 principal reasons. Go ahead.
Marriage was first ordained by the Most High.
Because it was ordained by who?
The Most High.
Go ahead.
Then join 3 accessories. For so far as
Hold
they
on, don't write, not the 3. The 3's not there yet. He's good. What he's doing is he's going to give you a list. He's going to give you the top 3 reasons to be married, and then 3 other reasons what to look for in a marriage. But the other reasons of what to look for in a marriage are not important than the first 3 principal reasons of marriage. So you got to understand what he's about to do. He's about to give you 6 things to look for. 3 are the most important. 3 are additional things to look for as you get married,
Extra.
but they're extra, but they're not as important as the first 3.
Okay.
So the top 3 is first, but let's go ahead and read down so we can get to that, so we understand what his diction. Go ahead.
So far as they be obtained, not derogating,
Which means to detract from.
okay, to the principles.
He says, I'm going to give you 3 things of reasons why you should get married, of what you should look for in a marriage. Then I'm going to give you 3 good reasons why, 3 add-ons of what can make a relationship great. But do not detract from the first 3. Do not make the second 3 more important than the first 3. All right? Read on.
The 3 causes it was ordained are staying of lust.
It says to keep your lust in check. Because the scripture said it's better to marry than what?
Burn.
Somebody give me that verse.
It's Romans. Thing.
Somebody give me that verse. First Corinthians chapter 7.
I lied.
Yeah, 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse what?
Straight lie. 1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 9.
Reads, but if they cannot contain,
But if I cannot keep myself contained, meaning I'm losing control of my emotions, my passions, and my lust. If my lust is out of control, if my passion is out of control, if I'm getting real loose in my behavior, and I'm driven by lust, he says, then it's better what?
let them marry.
It said, let them do what?
Let them marry.
It says it's better than go get married then. If you can't control yourself, if you can't control your passions, if you can't control your lust, I know she laughed at that. Say, go get, it's like, go get married. She laughed. But if you can't control your lust, then go get you a woman then. Go get you a man then. Go get married if that's the case. It's because that's better than you spreading yourself to whores, or to become a whore, or to exercise whoredom. Then go ahead and take your lust out and use one person to take your lust out on. And there's nothing wrong with that. And dedicate your lust to that one individual. Read on.
For it is better to marry than to burn.
So it's better to marry than to what?
To burn.
To burn in your lust. So what's the first reason King James gave to a son of why you should get married?
To abstain. Keep his lust in check.
To keep your lust in check. Read that one more time, though, yeah?
The 3 causes it was ordained are for staying of lust.
To keep your lust in order. So you don't get out of order with your lust. You don't let your lust get out of order. Because your lust getting out of order gets you in trouble. Go ahead.
For procreation.
And what's the second reason for marriage?
Procreation.
What's the second reason for marriage?
Procreation.
What's the second reason for marriage?
Procreation.
Procreation. Make babies, man. Make them babies, man. But first you better use discretion first. You better be real discreet first. Don't make the babies and then try to fix the marriage. Well, now I'm obligated because she's pregnant now. I ain't got no choice. That's the wrong reason. I might as well get married. She's already pregnant. That's backwards. Because that's what the world do. The world get pregnant first, then they go to the altar. Then they try to make an announcement. And then they try to go before the priest. Then they bring the family in and have a party. That's backwards. There's an order to everything. What else?
And that man should, by his wife, get a helper like himself.
And what's the third reason to get married? to get a helper like yourself. Just like the Most High said in Genesis chapter 2. He said, it is not good that man should be alone. So the Most High made it a helpmeet that is right for him, right? Help meet, a meet meaning right for him. The Most High brought Adam a help. And so that's another reason why to get married, is to get help. But that's not the only reason to get married. He said, I'm getting married to keep my lust in order. I'm also getting married to bring forth children. And I'm also getting married to establish help in my furtherance in my servitude in serving the Most High. To aid me in my servitude to serve the Most High. Read on.
Defer not then to marry till your age.
He said, but don't wait till it's too long to get married. He said, because the longer you wait to get married, what's going to happen? Read.
For it is ordained for quenching the lust of your youth.
He said, because it's ordained for the quenching of the lust of your what?
Youth.
And it's okay to be married young. It's okay to get married when you're young. Yes.
So is there a specific age that you need to get married?
No, there's no specific age to get married, but it's something that is well thought out, and it's something that is planned both between a father and the son. You know what I'm saying? It's when the father is choosing to hand over his daughter in marriage. It's when the father's in control of when to dispense, both with a dowry, which is a payment, and also upon that man's request to say, okay, we read about Leah and Rachel, and we found out he had to work how long just to get his wives? 14 years, 7 years apiece.
6 years per cat.
And so that was the determination of the father, Laban. Laban said, listen, you want to marry my daughters? Put this work in. Put this work in, and after 7 years, she's yours. Put this work, yes sir.
Ecclesiastes 7:25
Yeah, read that. That's a good one.
says, marry thy daughter, and so shalt thou have performed a weighty matter.
He says, when a man marries his daughter off, he says, then a man has performed a what?
A weighty matter.
Man, you know what? Allowing your daughter to be married to a man, and a man that's good for your daughter, he said that's nothing to play with. That's a heavy matter. We all seen what happens when marriage goes wrong. We all seen, most people are on their first, second, third, fourth marriage. Fifth, sixth. Depending on how you look at marriage. Based on the law. He said, but when a father marries off his daughter, that's a heavy duty obligation. That's a hard thing to give away. Because you want to see, am I handing my daughter off to a klutz?
It says, but give her to a man of understanding.
Am I marrying my daughter off to a dude who don't take my daughter serious? Who only looking at my daughter for sex? Am I marrying my daughter off to a man that only want to take advantage of what she can do for him, but he's lazy as hell, he don't want to go to work? He has no virtue, he ain't no fight, he's a drunk, he's a wino. Man, it said, but give thy daughter to a what?
To a man of understanding.
To a man of understanding. That's a big task. And that's why it takes time. Because there ain't a lot of men walking around with understanding. And there ain't a lot of virtuous women. But if I'm going to establish a relationship, let it be for these principal reasons. Go ahead.
Especially a king must timorously marry for the well of his people.
He says, I'm also, as a king, as a leader, I'm going to marry for the well. The well means the well-being. For the well-being of the people. So I'm gonna choose a woman that not only pleases me and is right for me because I like this woman and these virtues that this woman possesses, but also I see that this will be a good fit because it exemplifies me as me being on stage as a leader in front of a lot of people. I can't have a woman that's gonna display bad leadership qualities. I can't marry a woman because when as a king, his relationship is put on display.
Yep.
People will mimic the behavior of this king and this relationship. So I gotta set forth the right example in my relationship. If not only do I want my kids to see what a good woman is, I want my sons and daughter to see what a good relationship looks like, but also my relationship, I understand in the back of my mind, my relationship is on display, and it's to be an inspiration for other people getting married. So you got to ask yourself, is this a good display of a relationship? Or is this a nightmare on stage? Is my marriage a horror show and people are learning, looking at my marriage like, oh, hell no. That's why I don't want to get married. Is my marriage the reason why people don't want to get married? Or is my marriage the reason why people say, man, marriage is possible? Marriage can work. That's what King James is telling his son. You're going to be on stage when you get married. People are going to be watching you. They're going to be watching your marriage. You better choose wisely. Go ahead.
Neither marry ye for any accessory.
It says don't marry for any accessory. We just read in the Josephus that a priest didn't marry for money or any other advantages. He made sure that the stock was right. That the woman was of a good character. Good upbringing. Yes.
You got Ecclesiastes 7:26 in there somewhere?
After what he read?
Because he's talking about the woman. Like, if you don't do these things, in 7:26 he says, I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and
right.
her hands are as bands. Who pleaseth the Most High shall escape her, but the sinner shall be taken by her. So if we don't take the time, the observation time, the surveillance time, the getting to know time, if we don't abstain and keep ourselves whole to the Most High, we won't escape her. We'll be trapped by her.
Right. You know what? That's just the Most High making me fall into the person that I am. Because I'm a sinner, so I will inherit a sinner. Because I was unfaithful with the Most High, so I will inherit an unfaithful person. So he's saying here, he said what?
Neither marry ye for any accessory.
Because a lot of times we marry for advantage. Because this person comes with something. This person came with a career, they came with a job, they came with some money, they came with something to offer. It's what I can gain out of this person for the wrong reason.
Any accessory cause or worldly respects.
Or worldly what?
Or worldly respect.
Man, she fine, bro. He says, don't you marry because of the way the world looks at a woman. Because this is what the world says a good woman is. This is what Kevin Samuel says a good woman is. This is what Kevin Samuel says a good man is. He's a six-figure man. The world say these things. He said, don't marry based upon worldly perspectives. Read on.
A woman unable, either through age, nature, or accident, for...
He said, don't marry a woman just because she's ripe. Man, she's ripe. She's ready. Of age, or what else?
It says nature or accident.
She fine, or, man, I done already messed up. I already got her pregnant.
That's real.
King James said, don't you marry for these reasons. These are mistakes. Because you got her pregnant by accident. Go ahead.
For procreation of children.
Or meaning I got her pregnant, so now I got to marry her. He said, man, don't do this. Don't choose partners like this. Go ahead.
For in a king that were a double fault.
He said that's a double fault if you get married for that reason. Now you really look like a bad guy. Now you look like, how are you going to lead people when they can see your mistakes right in front of them? They can see your bad decision making right in front of them. How you going to lead people when you and your discretion is off? You don't use discretion in your wife. The woman you chose is a bad choice. How your kids came about was bad. How are you going to lead people? Read.
As well against his own will. Well.
Which is well doing.
As against the will of his people.
So he said, if you marry for the wrong reason, you're gonna detract from the people. The people won't fare very well. You won't be a good example to the people.
They'll lose hope.
They'll lose hope through your marriage, through your broken bad decisions. Everything King James is telling them is in respect of other people watching them and taking notice of them. Read on.
Neither also marry one of known evil conditions,
Go ahead.
or vicious education.
Don't you marry somebody who you know had a bad upbringing. Now, in America, we all had bad upbringings. So you just got to pick the best of the bad. The least of the worst.
And a vicious education is a person that has that attack mindset, like that feminist mentality.
That evil education is somebody who don't even have no fear of the Most High. Somebody who, they want Christmas and you want Hanukkah. And now you're torn between, now you're trying to get the kids both. We're gonna put up the tree, but we gonna also have Hanukkah too. No, man. You can't serve sacrifice to the Most High and to devils.
That was that one lady that was.
I know, no, we ain't gonna bring it up. We ain't gonna bring it up. We already know what it was. But you can't do that. Now the people, the children are torn. Cause now you're fighting against her bad education and that she's bringing into the relationship. Read on.
For the woman is ordained to be a helper.
And what's a woman? What is she ordained to do?
To be a helper.
Read on.
Not a hinderer.
It says a woman is supposed to be a helper, not a what?
Hinderer.
So you got to make sure you marry a woman that is to aid you, not to hinder you. She's for you, not against you.
That's facts, man.
What King James is dropping is pearls, man. Dropping pearls on his son.
He was a boss.
Read on.
Hinderer to man. The three accessories which.
Now he says that as far as I hope y'all wrote those three things down. That was principle for establishing a relationship. Now he says if you're gonna add on these other reasons to marry, make sure that these next three are not important in the first primary three. Which is what?
The three accessories which, as I have said, ought also to be respected.
He said this is good. This is good to take notice of. Go ahead.
Without derogating.
He said without detracting. Go ahead.
To the principal causes are beauty.
He says now if you also want to marry, it's okay to marry for what?
Beauty.
But that should not be the sole reason for the marriage. That's only an accessory to the marriage. That's only an added bonus to the marriage. But that's not more important than the first three reasons. He said for beauty, what else?
Riches.
And then for wealth, go ahead.
And friendship by alliance.
And friendship, we got the same thought process. We plan on we build things. We're like-minded.
Damn, so friendships last.
He said friendships is last. Friendship, now he's going to explain the benefits of these three accessories, but those three accessories are not to be overshadowed by the three principal reasons. The riches was the second.
Beauty, riches, friendship by alliance.
We know the same people. We might as well get married. We know the same individuals.
Yeah.
We got the same friends.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Which are all blessings of the Most High.
It says now if you get married for the right reason, and they're beautiful and they got some money, and y'all share the same friends, then that's a double win. that's a great. You up now. You up one. But go ahead.
For beauty increaseth your love to your wife.
And that's exactly what happened with Jacob. He loved her, loved Rachel. So that beauty just increased the what? But keep in mind, beauty is vain and favor is what?
Deceitful.
It's deceitful. But also the scripture says the wickedness of a woman darkeneth her what? Her countenance. So yeah, she can be beautiful, but if she don't have the right behavior, then she's not. It destroys the beauty. The inward ugliness destroys the outward physical beauty. You can have a woman that's beautiful on the outside, but ugly on the inside. Same thing with a man. You can have a good-looking crazy man.
Let me hit that first Samuel 16:7.
No, that's cool. Go ahead.
For beauty increaseth your love to your wife, contenting you the better with her.
And so it'll satisfy the desire not to go and just keep looking for something better. Read on.
Without caring for others.
Exactly. So you won't be looking at what else is out there. So it helps. It's an addition, but it's not the main focus. Go.
And riches and great alliance.
It says in riches, and now the second and the third thing he said that are extra bonuses, but not more important than the three principal. Go ahead.
Do make her the abler to be a helper.
And if she does come with some type of wealth, or she comes with some type of work ethic, all that does is aid you and help you serve the Most High even more. Go ahead.
It says, an abler to be a helper unto you. But if over great respect being had of these accessories, the principal cause be overseen, which is overall practice.
He says, but make sure that you don't put those three things over the most principal things of why you establish a relationship. He says, because more often than not, you got to understand what he's saying in Old English. More often than not, people choose the marriage for the wrong reason. They choose the marriage for the beauty, the riches, and the fact that we know people. We know the same people. We got something in common. They pick the wrong reason to establish relationships. He said, more often than not, people will choose the latter than the first. Read.
Which is overall practiced in the world.
And that's what worldly people do. Go ahead.
As of themselves, they are a blessing being well used.
It says if you use those three accessories properly, it's a blessing well used. Go ahead.
So the abuse of them.
But if you make priority the woman's beauty or the man's beauty as being primary of why you got with this person, if you use riches or wealth or advantages of the main reason why you got with this person, or you use the fact that y'all know the same people and y'all get along and y'all saying y'all got similar understanding. We got similar alliances as the main reason, or we're good friends, we make each other laugh, we're just good friends. We're friends. If you use that as the main reason why to get married, read on.
So the abuse of them will turn them in a curse.
It said that those three things, those accessories will become a what?
A curse.
So that beauty will become a curse. Those riches will become a curse. That friendship will become a curse. Read on.
For what can all these worldly respects avail when a man shall find himself coupled?
He said, what good is it when you got a woman that's beautiful, she's wealthy, and she's your friend, and coupled with what?
Coupled with the devil.
Devil. He says, all you have now is a good-looking, wealthy, friendly devil. He said, what good is it if you got those physical things, but you sleeping with the devil, and you sharing the bed with the devil? What good was the beauty if the relationship is demonic, if it's antagonistic, if it's always contentious?
That's true.
And it's always accusatory. It's your fault for this, and it's your fault for that, and it's your fault for this. What good is it to have those superficial things of why you created the relationship, and then you got a devil in the house in the bed with you? Read on.
To be one flesh.
He said, what good is it to be one flesh? Go ahead.
With him, and the half marrow in his bed.
Go ahead.
Then, though too late, shall he find the beauty without bounty.
He says, then, though too late, meaning it's too late, shall he find the beauty without what?
Bounty.
Bounty means benefit. He says, if you married for this reason because this person was beautiful, he says you're going to find out later on, when it's too late, that beauty didn't mean nothing. That beauty was superficial. That beauty was an illegitimate reason why to get married. You used the wrong principles to establish a relationship with. Now the beauty is fruitless. It don't benefit nothing. Now you got a beautiful, shallow person at home that won't follow or do anything you say. That won't help you build anything. That's not in your corner, not on the same page. So what good was the beauty? Read on.
Wealth without wisdom.
And what good is it to have a woman that got a good job, but she don't know how to order the house right? She blow money every time. Now you got wealth without what?
Wisdom.
Now she don't know how to pay no bills, keep up with the bills. Keep the house running. Everything's always falling behind. So what good was it? Go ahead.
And great friendship without grace and honesty.
And now you got a friend Because y'all started off as friends, which most people say, man, we were cool friends. We were friends before we became lovers. Now I got this friendship, and there's no kindness. We talk to each other like we mortal enemies. We talk to each other like we crazy. Well, the hell with you. The hell with you too. Well, F you. Well, you don't got to be here. Well, you can leave. Well, you can leave. Well, what happened to the friendship? What good was that friendship now? When in the friendship, there's no grace, which is no kindness. Nobody knows how to talk to each other. Nobody knows how to be nice to each other. Nobody knows how to respect each other. It's always throwing dirt, and you did this and you did that. Well, you did this, you did that. Well, I don't like this, I don't like that. Now we're enemies. What good is it? Now it's a friendship without grace and what?
And honesty.
And now we lying to each other. Thought y'all was friends. Now we constantly lying to each other. You know why we lying to each other? Because you chose to make a relationship out of a friendship. That wasn't the right reason. You wasn't thinking spiritual. You thought because y'all like to watch the same movies, and y'all like to go out together, and y'all like to eat the same food, you thought that was a strong enough reason to establish a marriage off of. You used some shallow things to establish your marriage off of.
Built a house on movies.
You built the house on movies. You built the house on mall shopping, because we like to go to the mall and shop. You built you built the relationship off the wrong things, off the wrong ingredients. That's why King James is telling his son, listen, man, I don't mind you getting a woman that's beautiful, wealthy, and y'all friends, but do not let that be the primary reason why y'all married each other. You better look at the reason why the Most High gave you a woman. She's supposed to be your helpmeet and serving him and building him up. Read on.
Are but fair show.
He says, that friendship that you got, that you thought was so wonderful in the beginning when y'all first met, and now y'all can't stand each other's guts, and you could barely be in the same house with this person, and this person is constantly going in and out the house because they don't want to be there either. He said, all your relationship is a fair show of what?
And deceitful masquerades of infinite miseries.
He said, all you're doing is putting on a show. And you putting on a masquerade, which is a fake costume. You're pretending to be happy. You in a miserable damn relationship with a fake smile on your face. King James is already preparing his son for what's to become of his marriage if he chooses wrong. On the outside, you're going to be trying to show everybody that we're in love. Holding hands. We love birds. But in the house, it's a damn nightmare. All we doing is putting on a show in public. There's no agreement in that marriage. All we did was put on a show. Yes, sis.
I have a question. Are we meant to be submissive?
Yes. It's possible. Yes, we are. We're meant to be submissive. We're meant to be submissive. That's a good question, but the answer is yes. But submission comes only by a certain ways. Go to Ecclesiastes chapter 30 verse 8, and then also go to Proverbs chapter 19. And read Proverbs 19 and 13, and somebody read Ecclesiastes 30 and 8.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah. Ecclesiastes chapter 30 verse 8.
Ecclesiastes 30 and 8.
Yeah. Somebody else give me Proverbs 19 and 13.
Ecclesiastes 30 and verse 8. And horse not broken.
He said, but we're like what?
And horse not broken.
He said, but the way that people become, they have to become submissive. Meaning they got to be what?
Broken.
They got to be broken. See, naturally we don't come submissive. We don't naturally come submissive. The scriptures say foolishness is bound in the heart of a what?
Child.
Of a child. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child, but the rod of the correction shall what? Drive it away. Drive it far from it. So, what's used as a tool to get somebody in order? A rod of correction. So yes, we are made to be submissive, but we have to be instilled. Discipline must be instilled. It must be enforced. It cannot be left out. We don't naturally want to get in order. He said a horse not what?
A horse not broken becometh headstrong.
A horse not broken becometh headstrong. Read on.
And a child left to himself.
And a child, just like a horse left to himself, the horse don't want to put no bridle on. They don't want to be saddled. They don't want to be ridden. It said, but when you leave a child to himself, read on.
A child left to himself will be willful.
So a child without correction, that child will not want to be submitted, be put in submission. They don't want to be controlled. They don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be given orders and given instruction. They don't want to be given restraint and limitations put upon them. They don't want to be told when to come and go. They want to do what they want to do. That's the nature of us. So that submission must be instilled into us. Proverbs 19 and 13.
Okay. Proverbs chapter 19, verse 13.
Ready.
Proverbs chapter 19, verse 13 reads, a foolish son is the calamity of his father.
So if a son is foolish, whose fault is it?
His father.
If a fool don't know how to behave, whose fault is it?
His father.
Same thing with a woman. A daughter, a son, same thing. That makes the parents look bad. Read.
A foolish son is the calamity of his father.
Go ahead.
And the contentions of a wife are a continual dropping.
And it says, and the contention of a wife is a what?
Continual dropping.
So then he's showing, I don't even want the second part. I want, is it Proverbs 19 and 13? Yeah, read that first part. That's the first part.
A foolish son is the calamity of his father.
Right, it's the calamity of his father. It's the father's fault. So who didn't put that child in order?
The father.
The father didn't put that child in order. The father didn't break that child's will. That will was never broken. A lot of times in the truth, we come across a lot of men and women whose will has never been broken. They've been grown and groomed to be independent since about 13 years old. Since about 14 years old, they've been doing what they want to do without fear, without consequence. So we have, a lot of times in the truth, we come across men and women that are headstrong. They've never been broken. And they have a hard time in this truth. They have a hard time adopting and adapting to the conditions and the demands of what you're being told to do, because they've never been broken. Their parents let them freestyle. Their parents let them do whatever they wanted. They came and go as they pleased. So now we tell a brother, hey brother, you got to get up in the morning. Your parents let you sleep. Not in this realm. You got to get up. Hey brother, you got to go to bed. I didn't have a bedtime. I didn't have a curfew. Now you do. You know what I'm saying? Yes, sis.
So in what order does submission work? The woman is submissive to the man and the man is submissive to the Most High?
Yes. 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. Great question. The answer, 1 Corinthians 11 and 1. And the answer to the question on the thread, on the YouTube thread is kind. It is. And matter of fact, we'll get to that question also, sister, in just a minute. And what you're saying and what you're asking in the YouTube thread, we're gonna get to that question and answer that question as well. Just remember that question. But read this, 1 Corinthians 11 and 1.
1 Corinthians 11 and 1. Be ye followers of me.
That's why Paul said what?
Be ye followers of me.
Go ahead.
Even as I also am of Christ.
Read on.
Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things.
Paul said, you remember me in all things. Go ahead.
And keep the ordinance.
He said, I'm going to give you the orders of how things should be. This is the order that you should never forget. Read on.
As I delivered them to you.
Go ahead.
But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
Who's the head of every man?
Christ.
A man shouldn't make his own mind unless he takes these thoughts and checks these thoughts by Christ. Is this what Christ wants me to do? Are these thoughts approved by Christ? Is this conduct approved by Christ? Is this behavior approved by Christ? Is this the example he wanted me to follow? Am I following his example? The head of every man is who?
Christ.
Read on.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And a woman shouldn't try to make her own decisions unless you run it by who?
Man.
A man. Because who's the head?
The man.
The man is the head. The man is the head of the woman, and Christ is the head of man. But guess what? Go ahead.
And the head of Christ is the Most High.
Even Christ got a head. Christ don't even do what he wants to do. Christ got to be in order too. Christ has to be in subjection as well. He can't just make his own way and do what he wants. If Christ got to be in order, what makes me think as a man I don't have to be in order? And if I got to be in order as a man, what makes a woman think she don't got to be in order with me? See, the problem is when man is out of order, then women and the children are out of order. Because the man sets the pace of the household. The man is central command for the body. He's the one that makes the decisions. So if the man is out of order, the house is out of order. He said, but these are the ordinances. Don't forget it. This is the order. It should never be turned around regardless of what modern day laws say. We're all equal. Man, no, we're not. That's not what the Most High say. Because you know what? Man is not equal with Christ. Only reason why Christ said he thought it not equal or thought it not robbery to call himself equal to the Most High, he says, because I share the will of my Father. He said, because I do everything that my Father tells me to do. That's what makes me equal to the Most High, is the fact that I submit to his will. Let that go. Answer the question, sis? Let that go. Let's get back to this right here. Let that go. We're going to keep reading and finish it up. We got a little bit more reading to do. So where we at right here? What page? Basilicon,
Page
page
139.
139 at the
And then it
bottom.
says infinite miseries. Now we're at page 140.
Yeah, so if you don't choose wisely, in a relationship, he says your friendship would be without grace and honesty, and but fair shows and the deceitful masks of infinite miseries. So out in public, you put on a front that you're happy at home, but when you're home, you're actually miserable. He said if you don't choose wisely, you're going to have a miserable relationship. Because you didn't make the right decisions. You didn't choose off the right principles. You didn't make discretion an acute, what's the word he used? Yohanan, he used the word that you got the definition for.
Surveillance.
Surveillance.
Critical
Observation.
Critical observation.
observation.
That was one he used. Critical observation and surveillance. You didn't watch this person long enough.
True.
But read on. This is just the advice. Once again, I'm only reiterating the advice that King James gave to his son, Prince Henry. After he feared assassination, he left this letter behind. This is what you do if you decide to get married. This is what you look for, and this is how you create your marriage, based off these principles. I'm only reiterating this.
But have ye respect, my son, to these three special causes in your marriage.
He says, but make sure you try to execute the first three reasons of why you should get married. To curb your lust, to make children, and to curb your lust, to make children, and to use the woman as a helpmeet while you serve the Most High. To help you serve the Most High. Read on.
Which flow from the first institution thereof. This is
I'll just read it. I'll tell you what it is.
et cetera omnia objectur vobis.
What he's saying is, he's saying not that I speak that I don't, but on the notes he says he's using Matthew chapter 6 verse 33, which means what? Seek ye first the Most High and his righteousness,
And
all these things shall be added unto thee. Right?
Can I make one point?
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot. In this time period, the Bible was in Latin. So he's quoting the scripture in Latin because that's the Bible was written in Latin at that time.
So it's Latin, but what he's quoting in Latin is Matthew 6 and 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. What he's telling him is, yes, you may pick your principles of marriage based off off the advice that I'm giving you. He said, but make sure you make the Most High number one. That's what he's telling his son. Make sure the Most High is priority. Read on.
And therefore I would rathest have you to marry one that were fully of your own religion, her rank and other qualities being agreeable to your estate.
He said what?
It says, therefore I would rathest have you to marry one that were fully of your religion.
He says, no, of your own
Your
religion.
own religion.
He says, I would rather you marry somebody. This is King James telling his son once again. He said, I would rather you marry a woman that is one of your own what?
Religion.
Religion. She believes what you believe. Read on.
Her rank.
It says, somebody who is equal to you in your position and your intelligence. Go ahead.
And other qualities, being agreeable.
And she's agreeable to you. Not because she's beautiful, not because she got money, but she knows how to carry herself, she knows how to follow, and she adds on to you, and she assists you in your beliefs. She believes what you believe. Read.
Agreeable to your estate.
Go ahead.
For although that to my great regret, the number of any prince of power and account professing our religion be but very small.
He says the only problem is, I ain't gonna lie to you, son. It ain't a whole lot of women that believe what you believe and believe what we believe. That's what he's telling his son. The pool of women that believe what you believe is very small.
Very.
And he says, I regret that I have to tell you this, but that's the truth. There's not going to be many people to choose from that believe what you believe and ready to support you in this fashion of your belief. Isn't that the truth? Read.
And that therefore this advice seems to be the more straight and difficile.
And it says this is difficult. This is the most hardest part of telling you this advice is to try to find a woman that believes what you believe, that's an agreeable to you, that's of your own rank and thought process and intelligence. Read.
Yet ye have deeply to weigh and consider.
He said, but you got a lot to lose. If you don't think about what I'm telling you, you're going to have a lot to lose. Read.
Ye have deeply to weigh and consider upon these doubts, how ye and your wife can be of one flesh, and keep unity betwixt you, being members of two opposite churches.
He says, and it's going to be harder if you don't heed my advice. Then it's going to be the misery that you're going to be in when you're trying to convince a woman to believe what you believe, and y'all belong to two different churches, and y'all belong to two different belief systems. Y'all to have two different respects and two different ideologies, two different holidays, two different everything, two different laws, two different standards. He said, if you don't, even though what I'm telling you is difficult, if you don't heed my advice, you're really going to be in a bad position, because you're really going to have more problems trying to convince somebody who is opposite of you in belief.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Disagreement in religion bringeth ever with it disagreement in manners.
He says a disagreement in religion brings a disagreement in what?
In manners.
How you guys will treat each other.
He's a wise man, bro. He's wise over here.
Man,
He's reading the verse there.
he dropping it.
This buzz he's on it.
He's on one right now. 'Cause
Yeah.
King James hit it on the head, bro. He said, "Listen, you better get a woman that's agreeable to you." He said, because what's disagreeable in religion, because she don't respect your religion, she's not going to be mannerable and execute the virtues of your religion.
Can two walk together except they
be agreed? Be not unequally yoked with unbelievers. Read on.
And the dissension.
And the what?
The dissension.
And when you got a wife that has opposite religion, there's what?
Dissension.
There's dissension in the house. Read.
Betwixt your preachers.
And you gonna be battling, your preacher's gonna be battling her preachers.
Battle rap.
That's funny as shit. Actually.
Your preacher's gonna be battling her preachers. Well, my preacher said we ain't gotta do, we can eat pork. Well, we don't eat pork over here. This is what the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High say. Well, my preacher said it's clean. All we gotta do is pray over it. Now that's a battle of beliefs in the household. How often does that happen? Read on.
And hers example, I gotta read it again, bro. And the dissension betwixt your preachers and hers will breed and foster a dissension among your subjects.
And once again, he says, you got people watching you in your marriage. You can't let people see your marriage being at a disharmony. You can't let people see. They're going to be using your marriage as a standard. You can't let people see the foolishness in your household. Because you didn't marry a woman that got 2 different religions. Read on.
Taking their example from your family.
He says, taking their example from who?
From your family.
From your family.
Your household.
They're looking at your household. So that's what so if you don't choose wisely, you're going to be a bad example for people that follow you from this point forward. Be the bad example of a marriage. You had a cursed marriage. Because I didn't want to use discretion. I didn't care about the virtues that the Most High was telling me about that I should be looking for before I get married. Read.
Besides the peril of the evil education of your children.
And now you got 2 different educations in the house.
Confusion.
You got confusion in the house. Now you got kids that don't know what to believe. They don't know what to believe mommy or don't know what to believe daddy. Because daddy and mommy got 2 different religions. That's confusion. They don't know what to honor. They don't know what to respect. They don't know what to pay homage to. There's already a dissension, a division in the house. Now the kid's going to suffer. Read on.
Neither pride you that ye will be able to frame and make her as ye please.
And he said, and don't think because she has a different religion that you're going to be able to change her mind. He says, that's your pride talking.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
That's how I'm becoming convinced.
Don't think you can you got the wisdom and knowledge to convert everybody. It don't always work.
One man watereth, another man increase. But
The planet, the Most High give it the increase. And listen, he said you can't always change the beliefs of just because you met a woman and she believe in Buddhism. And you think because you got the knowledge, power, and you got the scriptures that you just gonna change her out of this Buddhist mentality, or you got a woman that she done adopted the Islamic faith, and you just gonna because you got the knowledge of the scriptures, you just gonna pull her from Islam because you just that sharp. Woo! You sharp in the book because you that smart. Ooh! He said that's your pride. He said that's your pride talking.
Yeah.
Now he said you getting beside yourself if you think you can change somebody's religion. He said now you're asking for too much. You're trying to do too much. Won't you keep it simple and find somebody that believe what you believe? Keep it simple. Read on.
Neither pride you that you will be able to frame her and make her as ye please.
Go ahead.
That deceived Solomon.
He said what?
That deceived Solomon.
Didn't the Most High tell Solomon, do not deal with these strange women because they're going to turn your heart from following me? Then obviously Solomon was trying to do what? He was trying to turn them into his belief. It didn't work. He said that deceived Solomon. Read on.
The wisest king that ever was.
Read.
The grace of perseverance.
He says now he has a family, he's giving them a family quote. He says the grace of perseverance. Go ahead.
Not being a flower that groweth in our garden.
What he's telling his son is, listen, no matter how hard you try, you're wasting your time trying to make somebody change their beliefs. He says that flower don't grow in our garden. So what he's telling them is, I'm giving you words of wisdom. Don't waste your time trying to convince somebody to believe in the Most High that don't believe in the Most High, that don't want to believe in the Most High. He's saying you're wasting your time. Once again, I'm only reiterating what King James is saying to his son, as advice from a son to a father to a son.
I remember my papa told me.
Yeah. Read on.
It says, remember also the marriage. Remember also that marriage is one of the greatest actions that a man doth in all his time.
He said marriage is one of the greatest things you can do in all your time. Read on. It's a great thing if you can perfect it. It's a great thing if you can use it properly. It's a great thing if you can make it work. But the problem is, the majority of us can't make marriages work. Our marriages don't work. That's the problem. That's why we have in this class anyway. It's not because they do work. It's because the majority of them are broken. We need sometimes reminders of reestablishing what a marriage should look like. All we're showing is what a marriage should look like and consist of. Not saying that it cannot be fixed, it cannot be repaired, it cannot be reconciled, because it can be. Because as people are growing, they make mistakes, and as they make mistakes, there needs to be given time and the benefit of the doubt, because nobody's perfected in marriage, especially when you got the kind of parents that we had that may have not perfected marriage before us, who left back bad examples. But it can be reversed. It can be repaired. But you got to change, and you have to be willing to receive a new set of instructions and a new set of lenses as you look at the people that you choose to be involved with. You got to start looking through a different lens. Other things have to be more important than just looks and money and how this person make me feel. There's things that got to be more important than that. Read on.
Remember also that marriage is one of the greatest actions that a man does in all his time, especially in taking of his first wife. And if he marry first basely beneath his rank,
and if I choose the wrong quality of person to marry, read,
he will ever be the less accounted of thereafter.
It says people will keep me as I'll have a reputation of having no standards. And I'll just accept anything. And people won't follow me. Because they'll look what the cat drug in. Damn, I have no morals, I have no ethics, I have no standard. I just take anything from anybody. I take an abuser, a drunk, alcoholic, I take anything. That's what you think love is? Read on.
And lastly, remember to choose your wife, as I advised you to choose your servants, that she be of a whole and clean race.
She be of a whole and clean race. Go ahead.
Not subject to the hereditary sicknesses either of the soul or of the body.
So he said make sure she got a good soul and a good body. Good, strong in constitution, good mind and good body.
Yeah. Health. Quality health.
Quality. Go ahead.
For if a man will be careful.
And I'm going to say this. There's a lot of people that doesn't have optimal health, but they still looking for love. Then you know what? Then deal with somebody that's patient with you, that's willing to uphold your infirmities and your weaknesses. And that's okay, because love exists in that realm too. I had an uncle that got paralyzed by a bullet, and he could still drive with his hands. And he married another woman that was paralyzed in a wheelchair, and they both had a handicapped van, and they both rolled themselves in the van, and he got behind the wheel, and he drove with the steering wheel, and he drove with the pedal with his hand, and she was right buckled in the passenger seat, strapped to the floor in her wheelchair. Love can exist in that realm. Not saying that it can't exist because one person's whole and one person's not. What I'm saying is they had the capacity to be patient with each other. And if that's what you choose to do, to have somebody with infirmities, that's fine, but be patient with them. Be patient with their infirmities. But don't be surprised, because you know what the truth of it is? Our health is going to fail anyway. As you get old, that person that you've been with for all that time, their health is going to start to diminish. That beauty is going to fade. And you still got to be able to put up and love that person through even though their health has deteriorated. But you didn't marry them for that. You didn't marry them for beauty anyway. You married them for what's right in the eyes of the Most High, what you can build in Christ together. So that surpassed the ailing and the failing of the body and the diminishing of the health. You were able to look past that because you married for the right reasons. All King James is saying is don't marry for the wrong reasons. Don't choose wrong. Go ahead.
For if a man will be careful to breed horses and dogs of good kinds.
He says, aren't men careful when they breed dogs to make sure that the bloodline is pure?
God.
Isn't the value in having a pure breed? Isn't a pure breed animal worth more than a mutt?
God.
That's what he's saying. He said if man will take time to make sure that the bloodline, and they got paper. I got papers for my pit bulls. I got papers for them dogs. Everybody got papers when it comes to animals. Because I can show the registry. I can show the bloodline. It's a pure blood, pure breed. I want 5,000 for this one. I want 10,000 for this one. He said if man will take time to make sure that the bloodline of a damn animal and a dog is pure, go ahead.
how much more careful should he be for the breed of his own loins?
Of your own children. Wouldn't you want to make sure that your children come from good stock? Wouldn't you want to make sure that your children come out strong? That's all he's saying. Just be careful. Be critical. Be critical. Be careful. Be observant. Don't just jump into no relationship. That's what he's saying. Don't just go off lust. Don't just go off feelings. Have some discretion. Read on.
So shall ye in your marriage have respect to your conscience, honor, and natural well in your successors.
Read on. We're going to keep reading. We're going to finish it up.
When ye are married, keep inviolably your promise made to the Most High in your marriage.
He said, now if you made an oath that you're going to abide with this person and you're willing to make this person your wife, he said, then keep your oath. Don't be flaking out, touching base. I ain't feeling this person. Don't just be jumping in a relationship lightly like it's a light thing. If you made an oath to the Most High that you sleeping with this person, you laying down with this person, you're making a marriage with this person, then that means something to the Most High. You're saying that you're going to be accountable and responsible for this person. But he'll explain in what way. Read on.
Which standeth all in doing of one thing and abstaining from another, to treat her in all things as your wife and half of yourself.
He said, treat her like your wife. Treat her like your wife and treat her as half of who?
Yourself.
Half of yourself. So you wouldn't be evil to yourself, so don't be evil to her. Treat her like your wife and treat her like half of yourself. Read on.
And make your body, which is then no more yours, but properly hers, common with none other.
And you don't take what's special that belongs to that person and give it to somebody else. That would be adultery. What y'all got between y'all is between y'all. That ain't just for everybody. He said that don't belong to everybody else. The part that's secret, that's intimate between you and that individual, that's between y'all. Read.
I trust I need not to insist here to dissuade you from the filthy vice of adultery.
He said, I don't think I have to go. King James said, I'm talking about marriage. He said, I don't think I have to change the topic to adultery. I think you should know better already. Not to pick an adulterous woman. I don't think we need to switch the topic to adultery. He said, I think you should be smart enough by the time you read this letter to know not to give yourself to adultery. King James wrote this letter when his son was young, when he was but a child. But he was preparing him for marriage. Read.
Remember only what solemn promise ye make to the Most High at your marriage. And since it is only by the force of that promise that your children succeed to you.
Go ahead. And he said, however you want your children to honor you, basically you're going to lay that example down how you honor your woman. Because your children are going to duplicate exactly what you do at home with your wife. Everything that they see you do at home, they're going to duplicate that. Read.
Which otherwise they could not do. Equity and reason would ye should keep your part thereof. The Most High is ever a severe avenger of all perjuries.
So the Most High said he's not going to let you take advantage of a woman either. You got to be fair. You got to be just. Everybody has a role to play in a marriage. Everybody has a responsibility. Read.
It is no oath made in jest.
He said, there's no oath made in joking. You can't tell the Most High, I got with her, man, because I was just playing. I just wanted to see what it do. I wasn't serious.
I just playing.
I was just trying to see what happened. I just see what's happening. I just hollered at her. I just want to see what happened. I wasn't serious about it. I wasn't trying to go this far with it. I was just playing. I was having fun. He said, man, there's no jest in oath making to the Most High. You can't come off like, oh man, I was just having fun. I wasn't trying to take it serious. There's no such thing as playing with somebody's spirit. There's no such a thing. There's no such a thing of playing with marriage. Read on.
That giveth power to children to succeed to great kingdoms.
Go ahead.
Have the king, my grandfather, example before your eyes.
He says, now he's reminding us of back to his grandfather again. He said, don't you have my father? King James is saying, my father wasn't really that good of a man. He's telling his son, you should have my grandfather as an example. Go ahead.
Who by his adultery.
He says, because King James' father committed what?
Adultery.
Committed adultery. He said, you should have my father as an example. Because my father committed adultery. Read on.
Bred the wrack of his lawful daughter and heir, in begetting that bastard who unnaturally rebelled and
talking about his brother. Go ahead. King James' brother. Go
and
ahead.
procured the ruin of his own sovereign and sister.
Go ahead.
And what good her posterity hath gotten since of some.
It said, and the family line was cursed from that point forward. Go ahead.
Of the unlawful generation. Both well his treacherous attempts can bear witness. Keep precisely that your promise made at marriage, as you would wish to be partaker of the blessing therein.
He says, make sure you keep your oath to the Most High. When you swear to take responsibility for a person and you unite, the Most High said the two shall be one flesh. He said, make sure you keep that oath. But read on, finish that.
And your behavior.
He says, now to answer the question that the sister had asked online, she had asked a question about
if you are not submissive to your husband.
About the duties. Go up on this real quick. Can you go up on that?
I think I can do it on my phone.
It was something about, isn't the husband supposed to be something over the house? Anyway, we'll just read it. It was a question that, let me move this right.
Be discreet, right?
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Let me get it right. I think I can pull it up. Okay, it's not letting me go back up. But the question was something similar to
isn't that husband's job to
teach, guide his wife to the Most High? Yes, that was the question the sister asked. Isn't it the husband's job to teach and guide his wife to the Most High? Now let's finish up the class with this last part right here. Read this right here.
All right. And for your behavior to your wife.
It says, and to your behavior to your wife. Your responsibility to your wife is what?
The scripture can best give you counsel therein.
He said, I don't have to give you counsel on how to treat your wife. He says, because the Bible already gave the best advice on how to deal with your wife.
Treat her as your own flesh.
He says, you're supposed to treat her as your what?
Own flesh.
The same thing that you would do for yourself, do it for your wife. The same amount of emphasis and importance you put into yourself, put it to your woman. The same amount of resources you gather up for you, split it with your wife. It's not, don't just let what you understand and gather and obtain just be for you. Go ahead.
Command her as her Lord.
He says, command her as her Lord. Read on.
Cherish her as your helper.
And you appreciate her as your what?
Helper.
You appreciate her as your helper. Go ahead.
Rule her as your pupil.
And you rule her as your what?
Pupil.
And what's a pupil?
Student.
A pupil is a student. So you teach her like a what?
Student.
Don't turn cold when you don't want to teach her no more. Because then I'm getting bitter. I'm getting bitter because I don't like the conditions of the relationship. So I don't want to teach. King James is saying, yes, it is your responsibility to rule this woman, but to rule her as your pupil. You got to keep investing into her. Keep teaching her. Read.
And please her in all things reasonable. But teach her not to be curious in things that belong to her not.
All right. Just make sure you put guards and fences and hedges about her to make sure she's not curious about unnecessary matters. So I think that's enough right there.
Strong.
I think that's enough to get a good understanding of what ancient advice would look like from somebody caring about the quality of a marriage for their children and the things that they should be looking for into creating a marriage, how the relationship should be established. So with that, we'll just go ahead and say shalom. If you have any questions, please rewind the video and bring it up again in the next class. We don't mind we're gonna keep hopefully dealing with this topic. But if you have any more questions, please make sure they're clear. And we don't mind answering those questions. We don't mind going to the scriptures and looking at the verses pertaining to those questions and getting understanding out of them. So with that, we want to say shalom. We appreciate you coming out. The water for watching. All right. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Press the button.
Now.
We got some couple questions. All right. We'll go ahead and end it right there. All right. Shalom. Shalom, everybody.